Good morning and welcome to our 125th weekly webcast. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way this call works, I do that every week. Hold on a second. There you go. I hit mute there. Sorry. There's a bit of delay in the webcast. That's why it happens with my speaker. So if this is the first time you join us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way the call works is this is an AMA, meaning you can ask me anything. You can ask me business questions. You can ask me career questions. You can ask me personal questions. And we've got it set up now. We've improved the process so that within 2 hours of the call being done, what my wonderful staff does is they actually go to the description field of this video and they update all the questions with time codes so you can click and get immediate access so we can save you time. So anyway, without further ado, let's begin and thank you. And I've changed things up a little bit. So I got a lot more positive feedback last week, humbly, for standing up while I do this. I found that the old way of me sitting down was getting a bit stale. And I know that when you're standing and presenting, you do it with more emotion. As Tony Robbins says, motion creates emotion. And when I used to present, give seminars or keynotes, or I used to teach during school, I would burn a couple thousand or take a couple thousand steps because I was always moving around while I was presenting. And again, motion creates emotion. So I hope you like the new look. Now, in terms of this item here, this is a prop that I'm going to be using for tomorrow. When I have my, we have our first major marketing event for the Silver MBA degree program. And so if you want to join us, what you can do is go to my website, harounventures.com, and you can sign up there. And there's a reason why I have that bow, this bow here, I should say. And I guess I'll show you this angle here. I wasn't going to do this morning, but I have to. I have this, and I also have just a ton of bows in my arsenal. And this is crazy. I'm gonna do this. I wasn't supposed to do this morning because we haven't set everything up, but I have to do it. And you'll find out why tomorrow I have all of this stuff and the tricks I'm going to be doing with this sort of thing, which I'm still trying to learn. I'm a little bit like Katniss. I'm a little out there. I know. I get it. It's okay. So here's kind of a cool angle we were playing with. And Matt, my chief creative officer, was joking that he said, "Chris, you're not going to be able to contain yourself. You'll do it tomorrow." I know I'm supposed to wait until till tomorrow or till Friday to do it, but here we go. All right. Done. There we go. Again, you'll find out tomorrow why that kind of hurt. You'll find out tomorrow why I have this. And why I have a lot of arrows in my quiver that match my corporate colors, blue and green as well. Okay, here we go. Let me get this out here. Wow. All right, done. And I will be starting a fire in this room as well tomorrow. You'll see why. Okay, I've got a lot of backup fire extinguishers and stuff, but it'll be fun. And as always, laugh at me, not with me, as I make mistakes, which I will. Okay. All right, first up, I've got Lawrence. Lawrence is saying, "Hi, Chris. I hope everything is well with you and your family while we're all coping with COVID." Likewise. My parents got the vaccine, and for myself, I'm on the list. Everybody's on the list if you want to be in the state of California. And so I'll probably get it this summer. I'll get a text when I'm allowed to get it. Yeah. Okay, I think real teachers should get it before me, though, meaning real ones that teach in class, the better ones. Okay, Lawrence is saying, "I had to leave my job due to family issues." Sorry to hear that. Therefore, I had time to think about my next steps, and I enjoyed the work on the job. Now, Lawrence is saying, "I'm having a hard time figuring out why I should continue to pursue working for a large organization. The only reason I could think of is I'm in my 30s. Yeah. And this is the best way to learn and grow. But I am getting the feeling that at this day and age, starting an online business is the way to have any control in my life financially as well. What are your thoughts about this? How should I analyze my options?" Thanks. Yeah, that's a great question. I've been there many times. meaning I've been frustrated working for other people in big corporations. And the issue with working in a big company is it's not a meritocracy. You don't eat what you kill, so to speak. You don't get compensated for what you should get compensated for. And these big companies, some of them, not all, but some of them figure out the minimum amount to pay you to keep you there. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like some sort of sensitivity analysis that they have. But what I have to say about that is I hope you're frustrated. And I say that with incredible love in my heart, okay? Frustration leads to reinvention. It leads to breakthroughs in your life. It makes you kind of reassess, what was the reason that you were put on this earth in the first place? What's your passion? And I love this quote here from Mark Twain. He said, the two most important days in your life are, number one, the day you're born, and number two, the day you find out why. What was the reason you were put on this earth? And frustration at work lets us kind of reassess what we want to do for you 2.0, so to speak. And so I want to play, and I wasn't supposed to do this. My chief creative officer is going to kill me for this, but I want to play just a little snippet from my MBA degree program that deals with personal growth. Sorry, Matt, for this, buddy. All right, hold on one second. Personal growth. Here we go. You 2.0. So that's one of the 5 segments of my MBA degree program. Again, join us tomorrow. Go to my website if you want to sign up for the seminar and the free class. And I give away a free gift to everybody as well. Go to harounventures.com and I'll help you reinvent yourself. I've done a ton of interviews in my life. I've actually conducted over 1,000 interviews. Okay, that's one per week for about 20 years. I've sat on both sides of the table. I learned a lot about interviewing at Goldman Sachs and many other places. I've changed careers many, many times. And I thought I was clinically depressed. And I'll tell you why when it comes to finding your career and your passion, your frustration, and changing jobs. So I would always try to get new jobs. And I would focus on what do I want and how to get it. But I'd never focus on why I want that. And so I would change careers to the hedge fund industry, venture capital, Goldman Sachs consulting, my own companies, whatever. But I would do it, and the happiest day for me was always day one. And then it went downhill. And I really thought I was clinically depressed. I thought, what's wrong with me? What's happening? And then what I did was I realized that I wasn't doing what I'm most passionate about. So before you go and get a new job, instead of asking yourself, how do I get that job? Or how do I change careers? Ask yourself why. Why do you want that new career? Is this something you're incredibly passionate about or not? And if you don't do what you love doing, what's the point? And look, I get it. Early on in our careers, we have to actually we have to, make money and provide for our family and whatnot. But when you get older, there has come at some point in your life, you got to tell yourself, I just want to do what I want to do. I want to live my life on my own terms. And so you'll never reach your full potential in life if you're just chasing money. I humbly believe that if you chase money, you lose your dreams and your money. But if you chase your dreams, as long as you're willing to fail and not give a damn what anybody thinks of you, then something unbelievable happens. Your dreams come true and the money follows accidentally. Okay, but just when you go for a new career and try to reinvent yourself, always ask yourself, why do I want this? If I was given 30 days off starting tomorrow and I can't work and I can't go to school, what would I do with my time? What would I do with my time? And whatever that is your passion and should be your career. And I don't care what anybody says. Screw the world. Just focus on what makes you happiest in life and serve others as well. There's nothing better than creating a product or service and helping enhance the lives of other people. And if I can humbly help you do that or change careers in any way, please let me know. And so my MBA degree program, my courses help you do this. If you want to sign up for my MBA degree program, you can go to this link here. Or if you just want to take one of my courses on how to get your dream job, also go to this link right here. This is new for me, so I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah. But until you wake up in the morning and say, I love doing what I'm doing, you got to keep searching. And when you find it, when you find your true passion, it's like a love you've never felt before. It's like this, but not identical to this. It's like holding your child for the first time. Okay, you unlock a certain amount of happiness you never thought you could achieve or feel. When you do what you're passionate about every single day career-wise, it feels a bit like this. Not the same thing, because having kids is better, obviously, but you capture a little bit of lightning in that bottle, so to speak. And again, if I can humbly help you get there, then I've served my purpose, my why. All right, next question. All right, next up we've got Valens. Hey, Valens, how are you, man? Valens is one of my MBA graduates from my MBA degree program. He lives in New Zealand. His family's originally from Indonesia, and I hope you've had the chance to go home to visit your family. I know times are tough. So Valens wrote, hey, Chris, hope everything is well. Likewise. And then you wrote here, I've been reading your networking book, and that's this one here, which you can all get from my website for free. That's harounventures.com. Okay. I've been reading your networking book, and I have a question. You mentioned that when you network, always find something in common. And if you don't have something in common, you can contact your first degree connections to help introduce to your second degree connections. My question would be, what if I have nothing in common, no first degree connection to introduce? Is this still possible to network? It gets harder. It gets harder because business is about relationships first and product knowledge second. Your network is your net worth, of course. So what I would do is this. I would go to that person's Twitter profile to see who they follow. And if they follow something you're passionate about, you might be able to bring that up in your in-mail. So what I have a big ticket here I'll show you. So I think sports is great boardroom talk. And so if you find that when you look at their Twitter profile and they follow a certain sports team, like the Blue Jays, which is my favorite team ever, you might be able to mention something like that in your introduction. Like, did you see the game or whatever it is? And I told my son, Dylan, I said that when I was younger, tickets were really, really big because we'd lose them all the time. That's dad humor. And then I said, because it's bad for the environment, what we did was we made the ticket smaller. Yeah. But this is the first game for the Blue Jays, 1977. I'm a big baseball fan. So go to their Twitter profile and see if you can find something in common with them, so that you could find a way to bridge that gap, commonality speaking, through a quick in-mail. Yeah. And what you can also do is on their LinkedIn profile, you can scroll to the bottom of their LinkedIn profile to see which companies they follow or which executives. And if it's somebody very inspirational like Sir Richard Branson, you might be able to start the email that you send to them with a quote from Sir Richard Branson, who oozes positivity. He said, "Screw it, let's do it," which is my mantra and what I follow close to my heart here with my business. Or if it's Elon Musk they follow, or Tesla, you might be able to start with a quote from Elon Musk. And I love quotes because what you can do is you can always fall back on them in a presentation or in an interview when you're rambling, which I clearly am here. You could say the bottom line is, if something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. Elon Musk. Yeah, this is just a silly prop, I know. But what you can do is, if somebody follows Elon Musk or Tesla, you can start off your email to them with a quote, something that's inspirational like this. Just think different, to quote the late, great Steve Jobs. I hope that helps. If it doesn't, please let me know, and I'll come up with another way to find a way to get that link, that hooked, so to speak, for that email introduction. All right. All right, next up, Lawrence is saying, "Hi, Chris. I typed my question here in the box, but I don't see it. Is it record?" Yeah. So if you type your questions really early, like a day in advance, sometimes YouTube deletes them. Just paste it again. Yeah. And you can't put in hyperlinks either. YouTube, for some reason, strips that out. I don't know why. Yeah. All right. All right, next up, we've got Zin. Hey, Zin, first time I've seen you on the call. I hope you join us again. Welcome. Zin is saying, "Thanks for all that you do." Thank you. Thank you. "I have a serious day job, but I'm about to launch my own fitness product on the side. I suspect my employer will not like it. What do you recommend so I don't lose my job?" Yeah, God, that's tough. Whew. It's hard. It's hard. And for all of you that have an entrepreneurial itch and you're working at a big company and you're worried that, oh my goodness, if I start something on the side, I'm going to get caught and I'll get in trouble. What you can do to kind of fill that gap, that void, that entrepreneurial itch, is you can start a charity. And you can learn a lot about business by starting a charity as well. And you're making the world a better place. And if anybody finds out you started a charity, they'll love you even more for it. So you kill two birds with one stone. You're helping the world, you're serving other people, and you're also getting your entrepreneurial itch out. In terms of your question on your day job, what you could do is tell me what your day job is first, okay? And what I'll do is I'll be able to follow up here with you and humbly try to help you figure out how to tie in your side hustle into your day job, so to speak. So if you work at a gym, for example, your side hustle fitness product might be something that you can incorporate into your daily job to serve others. The management team might be happy with that as well. And they might even give you equity or money to start it, kind of like a venture capital firm. Okay, next up, we've got, "I need to do tutorial and videos for product usage. And with COVID, it's been hard finding models." Yeah. If you're asking if I'm available, I'm not. A lot of people think I look like Bradley Pitts. No? A little bit? No? I'm just kidding. I'm pretty ugly. I know. It's fun, though. Laugh at me, not with me. Yeah. So it's hard for me to find models. I want to use myself, so I think my employer, okay, might see it on YouTube. No IP issues. Yeah. What you can always do is you can go to Fiverr.com. Okay, Fiverr.com. It's a great company based in Tel Aviv. I went by their headquarters a couple of years ago when I was there. And what they do is, for $5 at a minimum, you can get anything done online, including modeling gigs as well, if you ship your product, whatever it might be, if it's small enough, to whoever might do that gig for you. You might be able to find something like that on Upwork.com, but more likely on Fiverr.com. That might help out. Otherwise, what you can do is you can contact YouTube influencers or people that are successful YouTubers, unlike myself, and ask them if they can actually do a quick video shoot for you and profile it on their page as well. Of course, you have to compensate them somehow as well. Yeah. All right. Hey, Canal, how are you? I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah. And then Zin is saying, and again, thank you, an amazing teacher. God bless you. And thank you for all your time here. Stay well and safe. Thank you. Thank you. Likewise. It's chilly in here, man. All right. I left the window open. It's a little bit chilly and the AC on overnight. Okay. All right. Next up, Canal is saying, I recently applied to the Hult Business School. I hope I get selected. What are your thoughts? What was your experience like? 'Cause you taught there. Yeah. So during the evenings, when I worked in VC during the day, I would teach at a bunch of schools, universities. Hult was one of them. I taught at the San Francisco University campus, undergraduate students and MBA students, and I'm humbled to say I got a award for Finance Professor of the Year or something. I think it's a very international school. There's 5 locations across the world, one being San Francisco. It's a very international school. You get people from every single country. It's rare to have somebody that only speaks one language there. So it's amazing from a diversity perspective. Yeah. And you get to go to different campuses too to rotate, which is kind of cool. Yeah. All right. Next up, Lorenzo is saying, I'm not asking for an investment advice from you. Okay, cool. But I want to know your thoughts about Airbnb as its relevance over the next 10 to 15 years and its fundamentals. And then you wrote, thanks, Professor. You're most welcome. Yeah. So whenever I look at companies to invest in, I look at the management team first. Is the founder still there and engaged? If so, that's a big plus. I also ask myself, what's the size of the total addressable market? And the way to come up with the size of the total addressable market, or TAM as they call it in VC, is you can do a search for what's the size of the TAM of the hotel industry. Or what you can do is you can get the size of the total addressable market by looking at the top 25 companies in that sector and adding up their revenue for a given year. For example, go to Marriott's SEC.gov filings, Marriott ticker MAR, or Hilton, etc. Yeah, so the market there is obviously massive. And when you analyze those companies, you always want to look at what's called RevPAR, which stands for revenue per available room. So that you're looking at year-over-year organic growth. Now, when it comes to Airbnb, I would also look at that if you can. It might be a little bit tricky to get that data, but see if you can see what the RevPAR is, or the organic growth year-over-year for each individual room, so to speak, because that organic growth is more important, I think, than getting new customers or building new hotels as it is within the hotel industry, for example. And whenever I look at a sector like the hotel industry or the Airbnb as a company itself, I ask myself this question first. In 5 years, is this company or sector going to be more relevant or less relevant than it is today? And I think it's going to be much more relevant because I do think that traditional hotels are in secular decline. Now, when you analyze companies in general, I want you to look at FVT. What does that mean? I want you to look at fundamentals first, valuation second, and then technicals a distant third as you assess companies. Now, I provide you all with a number of different arrows in your quiver, so to speak, for whenever you're doing research on companies. I got a bow and arrow here too. I'm using this tomorrow in tomorrow's webcast. And so I pride myself on providing my students with a lot of arrows in their quiver, so to speak, a lot of weapons, so that they can use any framework possible, many of which I've created myself. And I have one that's a 100-step framework for you to analyze a company, which I teach in the 4th semester of my MBA degree program, which you read more about here at this link here. Let me show you a very, very short video of what that 100-step investment framework looks like, which I developed after working for some of the most sophisticated hedge funds in the world, Goldman Sachs, etc., and more importantly, myself. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm a big deal at all. I'm not, but I always try to tell my students to think for themselves because no one is smarter than you. So let me show you what the finance portion of the MBA degree program looks like really quickly here. Here we go. So I provide you with many tools or arrows in your quiver, so to speak. And again, join us tomorrow if you want to, where I'm going to be providing you all with a free gift, a free course, and much more. Tomorrow, what I'll be doing is I'll be talking more about the MBA degree program and teaching you brand new stuff as well. And you'll understand why I have this arrow, whoops, wrong camera, this here tomorrow. Okay, and there will be a lot of props, including something scary that's in here as well. And then also, I will be starting a fire in this room. Don't worry, I've got all the fire extinguishers here. It'll be a lot of fun. I hope you can join us. All right. All right, next up, Pratik, who's one of my students, actually, my MBA program, great guy, is saying, hi, Chris, I'm excited for tomorrow. So am I. Thank you. It should be fun. I'm doing something dramatically different with tons of new props. I have to show you one more. Sorry. I got this little thing as well. Supposed to be gold, looks a little copperish, but that's what happens when you waste your money at other MBA schools, like traditional ones. Yeah. With mine, the cost of my school, which I'll talk about tomorrow, and I'll have a special offer tomorrow. So the cost of my MBA degree program is less than literally 1 hour at a traditional school. My stuff's more up to date as well. And I'll talk tomorrow about why accreditation doesn't make sense either. I got to go there right now. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. My chief creative officer is going to kill me for this. But let me show you what Elon Musk has to say about business schools. Okay, this is unbelievable. All right, here we go. All right, I want to show you a couple slides here from the great Elon Musk and others when it comes to business school. And I'm trying to share this screen as well. Give me 1 second. I've got a new way to do this, which is not going to work out perfectly, but bear with me, folks. Okay, hold on. This will be worth your time. All right, so that's what I see up top. I'm sharing another monitor. I'm using something called NDI. Okay, good. There we go. Good. Okay, cool. And let me get rid of my propaganda at the bottom there so I could show you exactly this stuff. Hold on. Oops. That's good enough. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, great. So, yeah, so accredited business schools are in decline. Let me get to the slide for that. Yeah, here we go. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So, accredited traditional MBA programs don't help you achieve your full potential. And so I've got a great quote here from Elon Musk. He says, as much as possible, avoid hiring MBAs. MBA programs don't teach you how to create companies. Our position is that we hire someone in spite of an MBA, not because of one. Okay, and MBA schools teach you the traditional ones they're an absolute waste of money. Okay, they teach you stuff that was literally relevant last century. They don't teach you stuff that you can apply immediately in the real world, which I'll talk about in a lot more detail in tomorrow's webcast. Other quotes, it's not just Elon Musk, one data point doesn't make a trend, but you have Sheryl Sandberg, right, who's the CEO of or COO of Facebook. And she said that while I got great value from my experience, MBAs are not necessary at Facebook, and I don't believe they're important for working in the tech industry. I have even more data to back this up. Guy Kawasaki, who is one of the early employees at Apple, and he's got a wonderful Udemy course as well. He said, for every full-time engineer, add $500,000 in company value. For every full-time MBA, meaning traditional MBAs from traditional schools that are a waste of money, subtract $250,000. I have more. Another example is this. Peter Thiel, and I partnered with this firm actually when I worked in venture capital in Palantir, which I invested in when it was private in my VC firm. He wrote, never hire an MBA. They will ruin your company. And he was the first investor in Facebook and the co-founder of PayPal. Couple more examples, then I'll move on to other questions. So this is Mark Andreessen, who's a top venture capitalist, and I actually served on the board of one of the companies he also served on the board of when I worked in VC. He says MBA graduating classes are actually a reliable indicator. if they all want to go into investment banking, I'm so sorry, it was an accident. Mark didn't say that. That was a mistake on my part. If they all want to go into investment banking, there's going to be a financial crisis. If they want to go into tech, that means a bubble is forming. It's true. Couple more. Okay. Oh, this is good. Scott Cook, who has a Harvard MBA, and he's the founder of Intuit, the company that makes QuickBooks and all that great tax software. He said this: when MBAs come to us, we have to fundamentally retrain them. Nothing they learned will help them to succeed at innovation. I completely agree. And I'll do one more. Okay, this is Seth Godin. This guy's awesome. So Seth is a Stanford MBA, and he's also a top-selling author and entrepreneur and a marketing guru. And he's got a great Udemy course as well. He said, an MBA has become a two-part machine. First, the students are taught everything they need to know to manage a company from 1990. And second, they're taken out of the real world. So I think that education, as we know it, traditional universities are in secular decline. I think that years from now, only about 50 universities will exist. People will still tell themselves, well, I'm not going to go to university unless I can get into like Oxford or a great school like that, right? And as long as it's not legacies, I don't think schools should allow their kids to get in because of legacies, by the way. But I think people are going to be learning online because if you go to a traditional school, they teach you crap you can't apply in the real world. I'm having so much fun with this. Yeah. And things are changing also to the extent that, let me go here a sec, that a lot of companies, you don't need to have a degree to get into them, like Bank of America, IBM, Google, Apple, and of course my company. Yeah. You don't need a degree to get in. Yes, it can help, get in to many places, but more companies in the future, like these wonderful brands there, with the exception of mine, because it's not as wonderful as the other ones, but these wonderful brands here and many more in the future will not require a degree to get in, because it's a joke. A lot of the stuff we learn is a waste of money. And we can't apply a lot of that stuff in the real world immediately, at least when it comes to business education. So anyway, those are my humble thoughts. I'm sticking to it. All right, let me try to get rid of that. Good. All right, fun. Now let me just change the screen over here so I can get back to my questions. Here we go. Fun. All right. So again, if you guys want to see more of that presentation, and you get a free gift as well, it's at tomorrow at 11 a.m. That's February 19th, 2021. If you're watching the replay, 11 a.m. Pacific time, my time. Go to my website to register if you want to be a part of that call. My website is harounventures.com, and thank you. Okay. I'm having fun, man. That prop was dope, eh? How cool is this thing? This is great. I got this from Amazon. And I love teaching with props because I remember when I was younger, and I think of what I learned in school, or lack thereof to a certain extent. I remember the teachers that brought in a prop, or my fellow students that brought in something for show and tell day. I love using props. And when I teach the MBA degree program as well, I use props that were actually used in the real world. And so in one class, what I do, see if I can get a better angle here. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. In one class, in my MBA degree program, in the economics management and strategy class, what I do is I teach you about bonds. And I teach it's international, not just US focused, right? But this here is a bond from the late 1800s, this is so international, it's beautiful. It's written in French, it's in pound sterling. And it's actually it's for Egypt to build a dam, right? And I got this off of eBay. It was actually pretty cheap. And here's the bond payment schedule. So I teach about this in my MBA program. I also teach a lot about U.S. bonds and international bonds as well. This here is a bond that was used in World War II to help America be able to fight in Europe and all that great stuff. This here is a bond, or coupons from a bond from the Walt Disney Company, which I talk about in my MBA degree program as well. And these are coupons. That's why they call it coupon bonds. And these were used to build the very controversial Euro Disney back in the 80s. And this here is just a stock certificate from IBM. So we study how the world works, why things are the way they are, and I teach it from a very practical perspective. And so those were little excerpts from the economics management and strategy portion of the MBA degree program. Now, what I'll do is let me show you really quickly a little snapshot of the economics management and strategy portion of the MBA degree program. Here we go. I help you take control of your life as well. I don't just teach you business. I teach you a lot of personal growth stuff as well. So speaking of control or controllers, cheesy, sorry. But I've got, I created in that video you just saw, I created an entire 3-hour lecture where we analyzed Nintendo. And I use Super Mario Maker 2, that product on the Switch, my kid's Switch. To design the levels and all the text for the background. I love to teach in different ways. I just got this for my new gaming PC, corporate colors here. I'm a bit of a gearhead and nerd, I get it, but I'm having fun. But I love using props, which I'll be using tomorrow a lot of, including, as I mentioned earlier, this bow and arrow. And I am going to start a fire in this room as well. Don't worry, I've got safety backup stuff here. Yeah. All right. Next up, Pranav is saying, I don't know if you remember me from last week, but just for some background information, I am 14 years old. And I remember seeing a 15-year-old last week. I'm sorry, I don't remember seeing you last week. And I can't answer all the questions sometimes because they get a lot of them. I'm 14 years old. And I'm very passionate about the markets with the goal of working at a long-short equity hedge fund or a large mutual fund. Yeah. And then your question is currently, I've been emailing any hedge fund that I can find asking if I can do an unpaid internship for them. Is there any list out there or website that lists all hedge funds, which I can sort by assets under management and strategy? I'm amazed at the age of 14 to know what that means. It's incredible. For those of you not familiar with hedge funds, if you think of your backyard, if you have a hedge around your backyard, it kind of protects your backyard. And a hedge fund protects capital as well. And so you can buy stocks, kind of like we all do, and you can do the opposite of buying stocks, meaning bet against them, which is shorting stocks. And by having longs, meaning stocks you own, and vice versa, stocks you're short, you can kind of protect capital. That's why it's called a hedge fund. In terms of getting access to a long-short hedge fund, hedge funds are very secretive, like they don't advertise. And for decades, they were not allowed to. It was against law in most countries. So they're very secretive. They don't hire that often. So what I recommend you do, Pranav, is go to LinkedIn and find people that work at hedge funds, have something in common with you. Maybe they're from the same hometown as you, maybe the same high school. You mentioned you're 14. That's unbelievable that you're already looking at this. That's incredible. When I was your age, I didn't know the difference between preferred stock and livestock. Cheesy dad humor, sorry. But what I recommend you do is go to my website, harounventures.com. And then what you can do is you can download this way. Yeah. you can download this book from harounventures.com. And this is a book I wrote actually when I was raising money for my hedge fund. It's how to network. It's not about hedge funds, this book. It's a couple hundred pages I wrote to help anybody take their career to the next level by networking to get internships, a job, customers, whatever it is. Go to harounventures.com to download it. And there's also a couple hours of YouTube videos that are clickable within this book. And best of luck to you. Yeah. Amazing. At the age of 14. 14. He's thinking that's incredible, man. Amazing. Unbelievable. All right. Hold on one second. Scrolling up here. And I hurt my shoulder pretty badly. I'm trying to put on muscle. It's not working. No, actually I put on a couple of pounds. I'm trying to put on 20 pounds of muscle by my 50th birthday, which is February 2 of 2022. And so I'm working out with my son, but I hurt my shoulder pretty bad. So, but I'm happy it happened. I know it's weird. With crisis comes opportunity. There's always a silver lining, because I got this here, and this is a $27 mouse anyone can get on Amazon, and it's making me much more productive as well. So with crisis comes opportunity. Yeah. So give me 1 second, guys. All right, let me move on. Next question here. All right. And if I miss anybody's question, just type it again, please. I answer the questions in the order in which I receive them. I read every single question and comment out loud. I don't filter. Okay. Except for that one. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Pratik wrote, my questions disappeared. Just paste them again. I'll get to them. Yeah, I'll get to them. Yeah. And since you're in my gold and platinum MBA degree program, you can ask them as well on the weekly for MBA students only office hours. It starts at 11:20 today. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Lawrence. Hey, Lawrence. Lawrence wrote, Chris, I'm in my 30s and I really can't figure out whether I should continue to work for a large corporation as a financial analyst, of which I enjoy that work. At this day and age, I think starting an online business is the best way to have control over my life financially as well. How should I analyze my options? Yeah. So what I recommend you do is if you want, you can sign up for my MBA degree program or take my complete business plan course. And what I do in this MBA degree program, and you can do it on the side actually, it's less than an hour a day, your MBA on your terms. It's like Netflix kind of on demand. What I do is in the third of 4 semesters, and it takes you about a year max to do it. In the third of 4 semesters, I have what's called the Venture Capital Boot Camp. And let me show you what that looks like. Here's a very, very short video, but I help you create a company or assess whether you should. So that if you take my MBA degree program, again, you can get more details right here. We do that venture capital boot camp, or you can do a truncated, shorter version of writing a business plan by taking my complete business plan course, which is on Udemy, or you can go here to access the course here. 30-day money back guarantee with all my courses, always. But failing to plan is planning to fail. And that's why I think everybody should write a business plan before they start a company. And I have a very easy way to do it. Again, take my complete business plan course or my MBA degree program where we go in a lot more detail about that. And if you're feeling frustrated at work because you attend way too many meetings, then channel that frustration. And why did I mention meetings? Because my coffee cup here, I don't know if you can see this. I gave this to Christine, my wife, for Christmas a while back. It says, I survived another meeting that could have been an email. Okay. All right. Moving on. All right, next up, Anthony. Anthony Corey, how are you, man? So Anthony Corey, I met you on this webcast a year and a half ago, I think. Yeah, you're from Montreal, and you moved to Toronto because your fiance is based there, and she works at Blake's, a law firm. Good to see you. Good to see you. And I think you went to McGill as well, my alma mater. Yeah, great to see you. Yeah. And Bill Corey is one of my great friends in my fraternity when I was at McGill. Yeah. All right, so Anthony is saying, hey, Chris, hope you're well. Chris, are you holding any cryptos at the moment, or have you already sold? I know you had bought some at the lowest of prices back when Ethereum was approximately $100 Canadian, if not less. Yeah. So I do. I still own 4 cryptocurrencies. Yeah. So and I'll never tell you which cryptos to buy or sell. You got to do your own research. And I have a cryptocurrency course that teaches you this. You can get access right here, or we do a much more up-to-date version in my MBA degree program. But I've owned the following cryptos, which I've said publicly. I've owned these forever. I'm never selling them. I know one of them is not working out well, but anyway, here they are. So I own Bitcoin. I've owned it forever. I own Ethereum, or Ether is the token on the Ethereum platform, ETH. I own Ripple. I know. And then I also own Bitcoin's little brother, little sister called Litecoin, LTC. Yeah. So, yeah. But I'm not buying now. With Bitcoin, well over 50K or whatever it is. I like to buy when everyone's freaking out. Like I like to think like Warren Buffett. Another one of my little props here. So Warren Buffett said, and he's not a fan of cryptos, but I am. I like some of them. Okay, I think most of them are a scam, but I like some. But Warren Buffett said you got to be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. And so I'm not buying stocks now. I'm not buying cryptos now. It's just me, right? I like to buy when there's blood in the streets, when everyone's freaking out, because as Warren Buffett said, the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. Let me just quickly point at this because this will be my image for this week's YouTube poster. Yeah. And this is what YouTubers do. They point and then do a screen print. So I'll remember right now the time, 8:52. Done. Okay, anyway. So yeah, he said the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. Imagine that. Selling something because it goes down in value that you like. Yeah. That's when you buy stocks. That's when you back up the truck. Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. I'm fearful right now. I get greedy, so to speak. It's a weird thing to say, when everyone's freaking out. So yes, I was backing up the truck and buying stocks last March. If you're watching a replay, that's March of 2020. Yeah. Okay. All right. And Anthony is saying, you've got a couple of YouTube monikers. I remember seeing your name differently before. I know it's you. Yeah. Always great to see you. Anthony wrote, I'm holding approximately 11 grand Canadian in Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is a 250% return now. Good for you, man. That's awesome. And I'm tempted to sell, but it doesn't stop going up. I know I should make my own decision, but I can't get myself to sell. Yeah. I can't answer that for you, but what I will do is I'll provide you with a great quote from an amazing man. God bless him. He just passed away recently from pancreatic cancer. God bless him. Art Sandberg. And so I used to work for him at a hedge fund called Pequot years ago. Great guy, really good sense of humor as well. We all miss him, and a humanitarian too. What Art Sandberg said was back in '06. I remember I talked to him. A bunch of my colleagues did as well. And it was '06, and we wanted to short the home builders, ticker LEN, which is Lennar, and ticker KBH. And I remember at the time we said that this is a ridiculous home building bubble, mortgage crisis. It's going to happen at some point, so we want to short. And he stopped us. Very nice guy. And he said this. He goes, "Son, I've been around long enough to understand never to stand in the way of insanity. Markets peak, markets trough, you can never time it. And so he's kind of saying think long term. But he might have also been implying the second it starts rolling over, then you can pile into the shorts, because that was a hedge fund. Yeah. All right. All right, next up. Hey, Michael, how are you? Michael is saying, hey, Chris, how are you? Great. I hope you're doing well. Do you think it's a good idea to invest in the airlines now? Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of the airlines. I've rented them before when I worked in the hedge fund industry as shorts and sometimes longs, but more so shorts. Yeah, it's tough. You got to do your own research, and you got to also look at so many different factors, like the price of oil, for example. But let me tell you something about Southwest Airlines. You're going to love this. This is fascinating. So Southwest Airlines, which is a discount carrier similar to Ryanair in Europe, Southwest Airlines, based in the United States, ticker LUV, because their headquarters are in Texas, Lovejoy Field. Southwest Airlines, what they did in the early 2000s was they realized that, my goodness, if oil goes up a lot, it's going to hurt our company and our profits. And so what Southwest Airlines did was they hedged the price of oil, okay, to the extent that it didn't matter at that time for a decade or so. If the price of oil went to $150 a barrel, they would always get it for $30 a barrel. And it was a risk too, because if oil went down to $10 a barrel, they still had to pay $30 a barrel for a decade. But what happened was they did that. And then in 2008, the price of oil right before the financial crisis peaked in the super cycle at $150 a barrel. And what they did, Southwest, is very predatory. They started cutting prices to kind of push the other airlines into bankruptcy, right? So I don't like airlines as a business. They're too exposed to commodities. So not a big fan. But I am a big fan of airlines in other countries, not American airline companies. And I'll tell you why. So I used to invest a lot in Latin America. And I remember, I think it was 05 or 06, whatever it was, looking at Brazil, for example, which I love. And I remember thinking Brazil has a lot of great infrastructure companies and airline companies, and also in Chile with land airlines, for example, a lot of great companies that are similar to America in the 60s. Let me explain what that means. In the 1960s, in America, the airlines were a wonderful growth industry. They were growth stocks, not value, right? Not like and not widow makers, right? They were great investments. They were growth stocks. And so when I looked at Latin America in the early 2000s or whatever it was, I saw Latin America as kind of like the U.S. in the 60s, right? And so I did invest in airlines down there. And even in Latin America, I invested in a lot of real estate companies in Brazil like Gafisa and Cirela, as well as Localiza, which is a wonderful car rental company. Yeah. So I'm not a fan of the airlines in America, but I am a fan of airline stocks in other countries that are emerging markets or BRIC economies, which Goldman Sachs coined when I worked there. BRIC stands for Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Less of a fan of Russia these days. Yeah. Okay. All right. But one thing I want to talk about, so I talked about the futures market there with respect to oil at $30 a barrel for Southwest. Let me talk about something that's kind of uncomfortable. 9/11. So I remember I worked at Goldman at the time, and we saw the whole thing. It was terrible. But I remember after a week or so, we were allowed to go back to work, and it was awful. And I remember I was curious on the trading floor at Goldman back in late '01 when we were allowed to go back to work. I pulled up my Bloomberg terminal. I was curious about the airline stocks. And of course, they were getting hit very hard when the market opened up. It was tragic. But I was curious about the airline stocks before 9/11. What happened? And so what I did was in Bloomberg, there's a function, you type in OMON, which is options monitor, which basically means look at the put and call volume. So I did that. And I realized that put volume, and puts means you're betting against a stock. Right? You buy a small financial instrument. If the stock goes up, you lose this much. If it goes down, you make a bunch. The put volume on American Airlines, Delta, DAL, Continental, CAL. The put volume on those airlines was at an all-time high a couple days before 9/11. So some bastard was financing whatever it is, terrorist events, by buying puts. And so quite often, the option market can predict what's going to happen, or what a lot of investors think is going to happen. Yeah. Little side note there. Sorry to go there, but I'm fully transparent. That was what I was thinking of at that moment. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's getting hot. God bless everybody in Texas, man. It's brutal with natural gas, no power, and people in the Northeast as well with the storms. And yeah. When I was a kid growing up in Toronto, we loved when it snowed like crazy. We'd listen to the radio. There's no internet back then. I am old. We listened to the radio, and we'd wait to see which schools were closed, so we'd get a snow day and stay home. And so my nephew Michael has had a couple days off up there in Toronto. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Anthony is saying, Chris, have you ever used Norbert Gambit's technique to convert currency? I've not. I don't even know what that is. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Yeah. But Norbert made me laugh. So I think that's from Police Squad with Leslie Nielsen. Yeah. God bless him. Great Canadian, passed away. Yeah. Funny guy. And I think of Leslie Nielsen too, because Leslie Nielsen, funny actor in Police Squad, because I have this headset. This is the same one that Tony Robbins uses. And when I take a break, I always have to remember to pause this. Yeah. So anyway, or mute it, I should say. All right. All right. Next up, Harsh is saying, I love you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Thanks. I love all my students. They inspire me so much. Okay. Let's see. And Pratik said the trailer is amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. And great job to Matt for putting it together. The original footage was shot by Adad, who I hired to do a lot of my trailers when I went over to the Czech Republic. And then Matt put together he redid it as well. And all the little videos for the 5 parts of the MBA program he did from scratch. He's amazing. He's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Now, in terms of those trailers and what they cost, I've had questions about this, and usually I feel uncomfortable talking about how much money I make or spend, that sort of thing. I kind of opened up to CNBC recently about that, just to inspire other people. But for the promotional trailers, so the ones where I was at MHS, Morgan Haroun Sachs, or when I was in the Czech Republic, for those of you taking the complete financial analyst course or my cryptocurrency course, they cost about $20,000 each. And I know that's bizarre. You're like, oh my God, it's ridiculous, Chris. Well, what I do is I actually look at the time value of money and how much money these courses will make longer term. And I do a discounted cash flow to see if that makes sense or not to invest that much in a trailer. Of course, my first 20 courses or so on Udemy, I did not do that. But I reinvest a lot, as you can all tell. I do kind of a crappy job sometimes, that's for sure. But whenever you're investing in a marketing campaign, you have to look at the lifetime value of the customer, or how much money that course or product will make longer term, right? It's really, really tough because you want instant gratification and sales today. But when you look at car companies, they have to advertise 10 to 20 times to you before you buy that product, which is a higher priced product. Yeah. But they look at models, pretty sophisticated long-term models. And that's what I do. And that's what I'll teach all of you in this MBA degree program. You can go to this website to learn more. Okay, I feel bad for saying that now. All right, next up, Anthony Curry, who's in Toronto, says about interviews. He wrote, I find and I'm Canadian, so I can say about that way, okay? Americans, it's not about, it's about. It's not process, it's process. Okay. All right, about interviews. I find the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years, so outdated? What do you think about instead asking people? What do you think about the person you were 5 years ago? Yeah. If you're asked that question, what you want to do is you want to talk about what you've learned, and what you would have done differently. And you want to be self-deprecating, but be very careful with a question like that because it can be a double-edged sword. And so if you're going to talk about one of your weaknesses, what I recommend doing is talking about a straw dummy. What does that mean? Well, we know that scarecrows are scared of straw dummies. They're not real people. And so a straw dummy of an argument is a very weak argument you can beat up. What do I mean by this? Well, an example is this. If you're asked about your weaknesses, and I teach about this in my complete job course, you can get at this web address in much more detail in my MBA program. Well, a straw dummy of an argument of what are your weaknesses and what have you learned could be something like this. You could say, well, I've found and I've learned sometimes I take on too much work and my family and friends think that I'm going to burn out. But the fact of the matter is, although this is seen as a weakness, for me, I don't see it as work. I see this opportunity, this industry as something I'm very passionate about. And so that's why I tend to work many hours, but I should take more breaks. That sort of thing. Okay. And this is Chris out of character. I do think everyone should take one day off a week, whether it's Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, depending on your religion or preference, whatever it is. I think you have to. That's the best investment you can make, is an investment in yourself to just kind of recharge, because this is a muscle that needs rest as well. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll burn out like I've done many times. All right. Next up, Anthony is saying, all right, let me see here. All right, we have Oren next. And if I missed any question in between, paste it again, please. If you put a hyperlink, YouTube strips it out. So just be aware of that, please. Next up, we have Oren, who's saying, I would dearly love your input on how to find an investor for a fantasy sports game I run. I realize this might be better in an email exchange rather than here. No, that's fine. No, please, Oren, thank you. And first time I've seen you on the call, Oren, and I hope you join us again. Thank you. So the best way to get investors is to network a lot. And Oren, you can go to my website, harounventures.com, and what you can do is download this networking book. And the stuff I teach in this networking book has helped me raise millions of dollars, get tons of customers, etc. Okay, it's 200 pages. It's free. Go to harounventures.com. And what you can also do is there's a bunch of links in here for hours of YouTube videos I teach you about networking, that sort of thing. Yeah. And I also have a course on Udemy. It's not that great. It was my first course. It's called Fundraising Advice from a Successful Venture Capitalist, I think, or whatever it is. Yeah. And I don't think I have it here. No, it's only on udemy.com. You can find it there. If it's not helpful, you get your money back. I have a 30-day money back guarantee in everything I have. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Tony 2 times saying, excellent trailers. I love them. Thank you. Thank you. A great job to Matt Lacousse, my chief creative officer, who did a wonderful job with those. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up is Shubham, who's saying, I'm constantly facing rejections in order to get a job. Should one keep going or start my own enterprise? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. And frustration leads to reinvention. So it's actually a beautiful thing in the long run. You'll see. And even for me, for example, when I've been rejected or had failures in my life, they're not failures. They're just turning points. They're forks in the road. And you might not understand it now like I didn't at the time years ago, but you'll look back and you'll be grateful to God for guiding you down a different career path. And so for me, I never worry about anything career related because I always tell myself, God already knows what's going to happen, which really puts me at ease. And so if you're frustrated in your current work right now, that's actually a good thing because it's your brain subconsciously telling yourself that you weren't meant to be doing this. You were meant to be doing something else, which is why I have this wonderful quote here. The 2 most important days in your life are, number 1, the day you're born, and number 2, the day you find out why. Find your why. How do you know what your why is? Well, you'll know the reason that you were put on this earth career-wise, what it is, when you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself, I'm not going to work. I love doing what I'm doing. I can't wait to get out of bed. And for me, when I used to work for other people in big companies, and I loved some of them, but not all of them. But when I used to work for other people in big companies, when I would look at my clock, in the middle of the night, and it was 3:30. I was like, yes, I could sleep a lot more. Now, when I look at my clock, I'm like, yes, I'm getting up. Like, I love it. I love doing what I'm doing. And I want to inspire you humbly, if I can, to find your passion, your purpose, which is the crux and reason, my raison d'être, the reason why I do what I do. Yeah. Like, think to yourself, Shubham, like, what would you do for free? What would you do for free? Like, what would you do if you're given 30 days off? You can't work, can't go to school. What would you do for free? That is your purpose, your passion, and go after that no matter what anybody says, okay? Screw everybody else. And you shouldn't give a damn what anybody thinks anyway, because those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. That was my Dr. Seuss quote of the day. Yeah. All right. Now, in terms of starting your own company, please don't do that until you write a business plan, okay? Because failing to plan is planning to fail. You can take my complete business plan course at this address, or in my MBA degree program. I've got what's called the Venture Capital Boot Camp that we go through as well. Okay. And Pratik said, I love your bottle. Thanks. This is actually inspired by one of my amazing MBA students, Christina. She lives here in South San Francisco with her husband, Christian. They're both in my program, and their wonderful daughter, Isabella. And what we do is we compete. I compete with my students. It's great. It's fun. Co-opetition. And so we have to finish this off every day. And so it's got times on it right as well. So right now it's 9:10 and I'm at 8:45. So I got to keep up. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up. Alan, hey, Alan is saying, hey, Chris, last week I asked about your real estate course and when it will be out. You asked me where I heard about it, and you said, I saw you mention it in one of your recent videos. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. And you wrote, it wasn't during one of your office hours. I don't remember which video it was. Thanks for answering. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So the complete real estate course, pardon me, it's coming out later this year. And the most important investment you can make is in your own house or your own apartment. And so everybody in the world, whatever country you're in, you have a retirement savings program. That's a great tax shelter. In America, it's called 401k. In Canada, it's called RRSP. In Australia, it's called something like that. But take advantage of that always. It's tax-free. It's free money. And if you don't take advantage of that tax shelter, you're literally throwing money away. I just love doing that. It's so much fun. Okay. The same thing when it comes to buying an apartment or a house. And it might take later in life. Like for me, it took me until my 30s to buy my first place in New York City. But it's the best investment you'll ever make, your own house. Because if you think about it, if you take $500 a month in rent or however much people are spending, and you spend that much money over 50 years, it's $8 million. $8 million gone. And I run through the math in my courses on that as well, and in my MBA degree program. So as soon as you can, try to buy a house if you can. It takes us longer, some of us. It took me till my 30s or so, yeah. Otherwise, you're pissing money away. And so in that complete real estate course, what I'll also talk about is investment properties. And so I bought a building in Canada. I'm buying another one soon as well. And basically, it's in London, Ontario, one of them. And we have a bunch of tenants that are renting that go to University of Western Ontario. I was born in London, Ontario, where it's based. And that more than covers the mortgage. Yeah. And my late great-grandfather, if he was still with us, God bless him. God bless you, buddy. He would say this to me. He always said, I got to do it, a zoom in out of respect. Whoops, I'm still trying to get used to this. He would say, Chrissy, buy land. They're not making it anymore. Yeah. So I love real estate. I've been investing in real estate in Canada quite a bit over the past couple of years. I know that valuations are a bit frothy. I get it. But what I love about Canada is it's a wonderful immigrant-oriented country. A lot of immigrants are coming in, which is pushing up the price, a beautiful thing, pushing up the price of real estate as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, next up, Pratik is saying, I have good news. The dean of that school gave me admission with scholarship last week. I told you about, and then you wrote, thanks for your help. Congratulations, man. That's wonderful. Wonderful news. Congrats. I'm happy for you. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and Oren wrote here, do what you love and money will follow. Absolutely. You have to do what you're passionate about. If you chase money, you lose your dreams and your money. If you chase your dreams, as long as you're willing to fail, and please fail a bunch of times, because failure is cool, that's right. If you chase your dreams and you're willing to fail, then something wonderful happens in the long run. Your dreams come true, and the money follows accidentally. It always does. I don't care what anybody says. Keep trying over and over and over again, and you'll make it. And where's my favorite Michael Jordan poster? I just rearranged the studio. Here it is. Give me a second. This is worth it. You guys have got to get this. Go to Etsy.com and get somebody to make a sign from your wall, right? I mean, we had sports figures in our walls growing up, or cars. Why not something like this? It's a small investment that will motivate you. But Michael Jordan said, I failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. Yeah. But he did what he loves doing, which is basketball. And now he makes more money every year from endorsements than he did every dollar he made every year playing basketball. It's pretty amazing. Do what you love and the money will follow. And if you don't, what happens is one day you're really, really old and you wake up and you have trouble getting out of bed and you tell yourself, oh man, I don't want to go to work because I'm working for this jerk that's paying me this much money to make his or her dreams become a reality. I don't want that to happen to you. Or any of my students, I should say. Yeah. All right. Balaji is saying, loving your crypto and blockchain course. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I love your last name, Rao. My favorite professor, Milind Rao is his name, at Columbia. He taught me economics. Really, really good guy. Good guy. He worked for Soros too, in the quantum fund, I think. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thupton is saying, if you have an idea and you're scared to pitch it to investors as they might steal your idea, how do you project your idea? Yeah, a couple things. So number one, I'm not a fan of NDAs or non-disclosure agreements unless the investor is just about to give you money. And what happens is, if you get an investor meeting, like if you go to my website, harounventures.com, download my networking book for free, and you get a lot of these investor meetings. And in that meeting, or right before the meeting, and they're doing you a favor, by the way, taking the meeting with you. If you ask them to sign an NDA, they're going to be insulted. So talk to your lawyer first always. You can go to LegalZoom.com and talk to a lawyer for next to nothing. I'm not comped by anybody, nor will I ever be. Okay, I'll never sell out. My students come first. Every other company in the world comes second. But if you go to LegalZoom.com and you talk to a lawyer there, and you can talk to any lawyer you want for like $15 an hour or something. It's amazing. Find out if you even need to show an NDA. I'm not a lawyer. That's why I always hedge myself a little bit. Okay. But from my personal perspective, I don't like it when people tell me, hey, can you sign this NDA? In fact, I had an issue with one of the students at a university I taught at. Be careful what I say here. And it's one of the reasons I quit that university, because it was this entitled student that came from a lot of money. And I love students that are poor, smart, and hungry. Okay? But he said to me, can you look at my business plan? And I said, oh, yeah, of course, I'd love to help. And he goes, well, I want you to sign an NDA first, because I don't know if you're a shark venture capitalist and you're going to steal my idea. I quit almost that day because it felt like work to me. Yeah. Just be really, really careful of that. And I'm not going to name what school that was, although I know some of you already know. Yeah. So, yeah, be careful of that. But usually when it comes to the time of the NDA to sign it, it's right before or right around the term sheet, which is basically a non-binding legal contract between you and a potential investor about the terms of a deal. Yeah. If you talk just high level about an idea, very high level. You don't have to give away the secret sauce. Or what you can do is you can file the patent before then, if it's a process or a way of doing something. And the U.S. Courts, intellectual property courts, are so backed up, the patent courts. So sometimes you'll see patent pending, which means you filed it, but it hasn't been approved yet, which is almost good enough. Talk to a lawyer first. Yeah. Be really careful with NDAs. Yeah. And if you're going to do it right when you're about to get money from the investor. Yeah. You don't have to share all the secret sauce. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next. Oh, wait, Peyton. How are you? Peyton's one of my wonderful MBA students. He's awesome. He's in the Navy. He's incredible. He's very inspirational. And he published this unbelievable vlog this week. And he just started vlogging, and he had, last I checked, 222 subscribers. And I'm always going to mention the number because I know at some point it's going to be millions. And I want to say I knew him when. And so what Peyton has done is he's found a way to get access to CEOs. But you got to be creative. So what he did was, there's this CEO of an insurance company he wanted to meet and get a meeting with. So he made a 1-minute vlog about that company. And he got a meeting. It was incredible. It was unbelievable. And he's very self-deprecating too, right? Which works exceptionally well. He's a good dude. He's camera ready. Let me show you who this guy is, because I think we can all learn from him. Yeah, and I wasn't ready to do screen sharing here, but let me see if I can show it to you. Here we go. All right. So if you go to, I think I have it. I think I reposted something he has in LinkedIn. So go to my LinkedIn profile. Okay. And then here. Okay. And then go to stuff I've commented on. See all activity. And you'll see a video from Peyton. And we can learn a heck of a lot from him on exactly how to create social media content as well. It's in here somewhere. Keep scrolling and then you'll find Peyton. I have so much social media stuff here. Yeah. And by the way, for those of you that aren't creating YouTube videos yet, please start now, because a decade from now, you're going to look back and say, oh my goodness, this was the golden age of YouTube content. I should have created content because it's the only gold rush in history. It costs you nothing to make the product, and the only gold rush in history where you can get access to billions of potential customers for free. Yeah. So here's Peyton. Here we go. So go here to Peyton. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look here at this video, okay? It's unbelievable. So it's a video he made on why a lot of great companies no longer need MBA degree or undergraduate degrees at all, university degrees. It's really funny. He works for Apple here, and he's interviewing himself as a potential candidate. Very self-deprecating, very, very funny guy. Learn from him, please, because I certainly am. All right, give me 1 second to get back into character here. Okay, there we go. My mouse here. My mouse. Okay. So Peyton is saying this man is straight fire and his stuff works. Oh, thank you. He's been helping me get seen by many CEOs, and I've been networking like crazy. Direct message me if you need convincing. Thank you, Peyton. God bless you. I appreciate that. You inspire me and other students so much. Thank you. Thank you. He's going to be a giant. I feel like as a teacher that I'm standing on the shoulder of giants, and one of them is Peyton. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Manas. Hey, Manas, who's based in India. Peyton, by the way, is based in San Diego. And then he also, I think you mentioned your wife is from Oklahoma as well. Yeah. Right. So Manas, who's based in India, is saying, good morning, my dear mentor. Hope all is well. Likewise. Sorry for being a little late. No, please. No, this is all optional. You wrote, I have tons of questions. I just love your studio. I rather fell in love with your studio one more time. Thank you. And, dude, it's different today. And I make a ton of mistakes. I made a ton today as well already. But what I'm doing is tomorrow, I've got this here, and I've got a real bow. As many of you, I showed you guys earlier, it's on the ground somewhere. And what I'll be doing is tomorrow, I'll be showing you a bunch of crazy stuff in the studio, including me starting a fire right at the beginning of tomorrow's webcast. See the mistake I made? I'm off center here. Yeah. To sign up for tomorrow's webcast, and everybody gets a free gift, a course of mine on 47 ways to become a millionaire, just for attending. But if you want to attend, go to my website. And if you're watching the replay, it's February 18th, 2021 right now. Go to my website, and my website's harounventures.com. And at harounventures.com, you can sign up for tomorrow's webcast, which starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Watch it live. Because right at the end, I'm going to announce a gift for everybody attending. Yeah. All right. Next up, TT, Tony 2 times. That's a cool name. Wrote, have you been on Clubhouse yet? The other night I was there until 2 a.m. in a room that maxed out to 6,000 with Chris Voss. Excuse me. It was amazing. Many celebs and super smart people dropped by, like Dropbox, a CEO. Yeah. So yeah, I have been on it. I registered actually a couple of weeks ago. I heard about it from my kids. Now, you can learn a ton about business from your kids, nieces, nephews, whatever it is, because that's what's coming next. If we observe the younger generation always, right? Which is why I have these things here. Yeah, I've got, and as many of you know, I got three boys here. Andrew, Matthew, and Dylan, they're like sons to me. But they're a bit older than they were in this picture here. But you can learn a ton about business by just observing the younger generation. Yeah, because that is what's next, and you can make a lot of money investing by observing what the next generation is using. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. And then Tony's asking, which company can we invest in to bet on this sort of app/platform? I think it's venture capital backed. So I think you'd have to be an investor in that venture capital fund, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then Manas, I'll get to that in a minute. Your question. 1 second. All right. Next up, Dennis is saying, hey, Chris, how do you recognize the best business or investment chances that no one sees? Yeah. So I like to think longer term. So before I start a company or invest in a company, I always ask myself this basic question. In 5 years, will this company be more relevant or less relevant than it is today? I know it's a simple question, but Wayne Gretzky, who's a fellow Canadian and the greatest athlete of all time, that's right, he used to say the reason he was successful is not because he skated to where the puck is, but rather because he skated to where the puck is going to be. And so you got to have the foresight to invest in companies that people are going to like. And I learned that quote in investing from the CFO of Vestas, a great European wind company, when I met with him back in 2006. I remember that well. It was awesome. Another great Gretzky quote is, when you lose, say nothing. When you win, say even less. I love that. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I would do. And there's so many other criteria as well, which you can find out about by taking my complete financial analyst course, or you can take my MBA degree program. I have an even better template or tool for you, a 100-step program on how to decide what to invest in or each stock, that sort of thing. Yeah. But if you're starting a company yourself, of course you want to be early, right? But you want to have a first mover advantage. But you want to also do it so that people think you're kind of nutty. And hear me out here. This is cray-cray. So for me, when I quit venture capital and I started teaching online, because it was fun, back in 2016, 5 years ago, my God, it goes by fast. People thought I was crazy. People still think I'm crazy, I guess. But what happened, and let me talk about Steve Jobs, not myself. But Steve Jobs always talks about, here's to the crazy ones. There's that great commercial that Richard Dreyfuss did the voiceover back in 97. He talks about, at first they think you're crazy. Then you get some success and they think you're a crazy genius. And then after a while, they just say genius. Because as Steve Jobs said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are often the ones that do. So when you look at a picture of Albert Einstein, like he's got long hair, there's a picture of him sticking his tongue out, which my kids laugh at. you don't think crazy. Your first reaction is genius. But he never gave a damn what anybody thought anyway. And he lived his life on his own terms. He's amazing. Somebody's got to make a great movie about that. Better than the one with Meg Ryan in it years ago, which was a bomb. And Tim Robbins too, I think. But with him, like Albert Einstein, when he was 4, he couldn't talk at all. And he got terrible grades. Awful grades. But he got to a point in his life where he's like, I just don't give a damn what anybody thinks. Like back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever it was. He had long hair. Like that wasn't done back then. So anyway, if you care what other people think you'll never be happy, and you'll never achieve all your business goals. Okay. All right. Question from Manas, who's saying, last week you were asking whether you need to drink water while you're standing or while you're sitting. Yeah, somebody talked about that. They said last week, don't drink when you're standing. It's not good for you, but I have to. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah. And you wrote, I experimented that, and I found when you're standing, the water tends to go into your stomach quickly. Yeah. Rather, when you drink while sitting down, the water tends to go to the intestines slowly, and that's good, you wrote here, because it's going quickly there, and chances of you getting choked or something. Okay, I got you. No, thank you. Yeah. I guess it's better to drink water. Not better to drink some water when you're standing than none at all. Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me see what's next here. And if I miss any questions in between, just paste it again, everybody. Thank you. All right. And then we have somebody here saying, sir, call me Chris, please. I'm Somnath Mazumder from Udemy. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Okay. And then your question is way down here is, why do human resources based annual salaries, why is that a component of enterprise market or TAM for LinkedIn? Oh yeah, you're taking one of my courses. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. So the reason, and it broke my heart when Microsoft bought LinkedIn. I actually published the course. I worked so hard in that course, the Complete Financial Analyst course, for like 6 months. And then I published it. And that day, it broke my heart. Microsoft bought LinkedIn. It killed me because I thought LinkedIn was going to be the largest market cap company in the world one day because it was basically a monopoly. And since Microsoft bought it 5 years ago, they haven't really done anything with that company. It's typical. Big company buys smaller growth company and innovation dies. It's the same product as it was 5 years ago. So when I was talking about the total addressable market for LinkedIn, the reason why I mentioned that the size of the TAM is basically salaries for all major HR executives is because of this. So when you and I use LinkedIn, we might pay for a premium profile to access, or premium service so we can get access to InMails. We'll spend between $30 and $50 a month for that. That's a tiny part of LinkedIn's revenues. The big part of LinkedIn's revenues is talent solutions. And that's a product or a suite of products that human resources executives use. And if LinkedIn did what it was supposed to do, growth-wise, then you wouldn't need as many HR executives to hire people. You would just use LinkedIn more so. Right. And I know it's kind of an extreme argument, right? But I'm trying to make a point here. That's why I use that component, HR salaries, when I looked at the total addressable market for LinkedIn. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And if I miss anybody, just paste it again here. Brandon is saying, I signed up. Thank you. I signed up online, but I can't access a course. And then you wrote, I signed up on JE. I don't know what JE means. Please let me know. If you're having an issue with one of my courses, you can always, if it's a Udemy course, you can ask a question within Udemy. If it's another platform, ask within that platform. If it's my website, you can always email support@harounventures.com. Thank you. I don't know what JE means, sorry. All right, next up is Ul, who's saying, hey, Chris, good to see you're still doing well. Thank you. This is our 125th webcast. It's crazy. We're slowly morphing into a production TV studio, which you'll find out about soon. Yeah, I still have a lot of work to do, and thank you, Matt Lacousse, my wonderful Chief Creative Officer, for doing so much for this business. Yeah, okay. So Ul is saying, lots of folks are jumping into the market. I'm sure you would agree it's not really a get rich quick scheme, question mark. Yeah. Yeah. So I tend to, I'm different. I'm greedy when others are fearful, and I'm fearful when others are greedy, to quote the sage of Omaha, Warren Buffett, of course. If you buy a stock that everybody else loves, right? And if you do that over and over and over again in your career, you're not going to make money. Why? Well, why do stocks go up? Well, one of the reasons is because there's somebody out there that's willing to buy that stock at a higher price. Well, if everybody, hypothetically speaking, if everybody already owns that stock, who's the incremental investor to push it up? Yeah. The most money is made in times of crisis, when it feels really uncomfortable to buy. That's when you do it. Like when you buy your first house or apartment. And for those of you that have done so, remember how uncomfortable it felt? Aren't you glad you did it? Don't you wish you push yourself a little bit more to buy slightly more house without overextending yourself? Yeah. And so when I bought my first apartment, it was New York City right after 9/11. And it felt so uncomfortable to do. It felt awful. And I thought, oh my God, this is awful. And then I told myself, Chris, you got to be unemotional about this. And just remember that no one else is buying now. This is the time to buy. Like at that point in time. Yeah. All right. Manas is saying, I need to tell you something. At present, I'm forced to study a Bachelor of Commerce honors degree just because our country loves you wrote here, damn formal education, and you're based in India. But what I did, I started my challenge. I'm creating something really different. And you wrote, I'll be succeeding very soon. And the day I succeed, which will be in the next fortnight, I'm smiling because my kids are still stuck in that game, and Minecraft too. It'll be the next fortnight. I'll leave college once and forever. I humbly believe that college is nothing but like a taxing agency they made to deduct our income. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. And best of luck. Best of luck. Yeah. All right. All right. Pratika is asking, I love you, Manas. Pratika is asking, what is the device you're holding? So this here it's just a wireless moose, not mouse, Americans. Canadians, we say moose. That's the right way to say it. Okay. Yeah. So this thing I'm talking about it's just a wireless mouse. And so I injured my shoulder, but I'm glad I did because I discovered this thing and many other ways to be efficient. It's really cheap. I don't remember the brand name. I have two of them, one for a different computer as well. So I use this to scroll on another monitor, which is awesome because now I can stand up and do all this stuff. So I'm glad I hurt my shoulder. Yeah. I think it's like $27 on Amazon. Yeah. I don't even remember the brand name. It was clearly translated from a foreign language to English because I read the instructions and it was the worst grammar I've ever seen. Hey, but it works. All right, next up, Ame, and Amey. And if I ever mispronounce anyone's name, please let me know because I want to be respectful. So Amey, Ame wrote, hi, Chris. Thank you for your great courses. Thank you for being a customer. I appreciate that. Where do you think Amazon is headed now that Jeff Bezos is not the CEO anymore? Yeah. So I'm less of a fan of Amazon now. That Bezos is kind of stepping aside. As you all know, I really believe that when the CEO or founder, I should say, of a company steps aside, completely steps aside, like no longer involved, and he is going to be involved, he's chairman. But when they step aside or are less engaged, what happens is innovation slows down. It's just what happens because management is less willing to take a risk. Now, Andy Jassy, as a new CEO, is a wonderful choice. It's brilliant. And the timing was perfect to do it. What Bezos did is he waited until after the close. He announced earnings, which were amazing. And then he put in that press release, also, I'll be stepping down. in Q3. The stock would have gone up a ton if he didn't say that, but he kind of mitigated downside risk by releasing that negative news, yes, with positive news. It offset each other. Now, Andy Jassy is a brilliant choice. Who is Andy Jassy? Well, Andy Jassy created Amazon Web Services. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. And for those of you not familiar with Amazon Web Services, the reason that Amazon has done so well stock market-wise is not just because of home delivery. More importantly, they own the most important platform that's ever been created on the internet, the most important software platform or operating system, sort of to speak of, which is called Amazon Web Services, which is growing like a weed, and Andy Jassy runs it. It has very high profit margins, unlike the rest of Amazon's retail delivery service. Yeah. But I do think innovation is going to slow down materially as Jeff Bezos kind of moves aside. Yeah, it always does. Okay. And if you want more details on that, there's this website, venturebeat.com, and just do a search on my name and VentureBeat. I wrote a guest column there and Wired Magazine and a bunch of places. And in that guest column on venturebeat.com, I talked about back in 2014, I think was the article. Yeah. When a founder leaves a company, investors should run for the exits. However, Jeff Bezos is not leaving the company, but he's going to be somewhat less engaged, which is a bit of an issue. Read that article on venturebeat.com for more details. Thanks. All right. And hold on one second. All right. Hold on a second. All right. I found where I am. Sorry. All right. Next up, the question is, what is a long short? Yeah. So when you buy a stock, they call it you're long the stock. Like in football, you go long, right? That's buying a stock. You're long the stock. The opposite of the word long is short. So the opposite of buying a stock, meaning betting against a stock and making money if it goes down, is called short. And you hear that together, long short, sometimes when you're talking about types of hedge funds. There's traditional long short equity hedge funds, which means hedge funds are big pools of money that invest in buying stocks, going long, or shorting stocks. Yeah. And there's a million different types of hedge funds, event-driven. I could talk about all of them, and I've done a lot of work in that industry. Obviously, I've worked in that industry for ages. Yeah, a little bit too long. Yeah. Okay, but I never sold my soul. Okay. Okay, next up, Manas is saying Mario has introduced its newest version, and it's advertising heavily on Facebook. And the funny part is, yesterday I saw your ad as it was placed just above Mario's ads. That's hilarious, isn't it? Yeah, thank you. And I don't know which company was promoting. I have a lot of companies that promote my stuff. I sell through indirect distribution channels, so everybody wins. It's great. That way I don't have to have a sales force. Yeah. It's so funny, but you're mentioning the Mario game. I know what you're talking about. So it's the brilliant thing about Nintendo and what we can all learn from Nintendo in our businesses and marketing ourselves is Nintendo, since the beginning of time, or for decades, I should say, have been repurposing content. What does that mean? Well, they take older content from older systems like the Wii U, and what they'll do is they'll promote that new content, right, on newer systems, the Switch today. And it's brilliant because it costs them next to nothing to do it because they've already made that product before. So they're repurposing the content. And that's exactly what I do as well. You know, I create this video every Thursday. I'm on Office Hours 125 now. It's 3 hours. And then what we do is my team takes the best questions asked and makes 7 vlogs from it for the next week. And we also have a podcast based entirely on this. And also I do Twitter, small videos, Instagram videos based on this, etc. Repurposed content. It's what Nintendo's been doing for ages. And they're very successful because of it. By the way, I was playing that new Bowser game, which is it's a smaller part of that game, the re-release, Mario 3D Land. There's a smaller Bowser game. I was playing with my kids. It's a masterpiece. It's incredible. And it's really different for a Mario game as well. Oh my God, I'm talking about this. It's crazy, but I don't care. It's fun. So there's this dark, kind of sinister music whenever Bowser comes and everything turns dark. It's hard rock, right? It's like something that's out of Metallica plays, but you can't make out the words. Whenever it's really done well. The music is brilliant. It's brilliant, yeah. And I love the game. I think it's great. Yeah. I'm never growing up. Never. Yeah. This one here is pretty cool. Check it out. So I just got this one. So I got a gaming PC so I can play GTA 5 modded out. It's true. And I got this custom made here, right? So this is it's a SCUF controller. And so I just got it. So this here is it says Xbox, but it works on a PC as well. And it's matte blue. My corporate colors are blue and green. And this one here I got to commemorate. Some people like shoes. I like controllers. Some people collect watches. I like these things. I got this to commemorate when we launched the MBA degree. I don't know if you can see that, if it's going to work even on the bottom. See? Says MBA launch 2019. Yeah. All right. Fun. We put that back. Good. And I'm getting better with simplicity. I overdid it before. Like people have 8 million pink flamingos in their front lawn, whatever. Less is more. I'm learning from Matt, my CCO. You're great, Matt. Okay. All right. What? Mario is introducing its game for PC. Well, really? I didn't see that. Yeah, let me know, like, where'd you find out about that? I haven't seen that. Usually I'm up to date on all this stuff because we do a big case study in our MBA program on Nintendo. Yeah. All right. So somebody's saying, why is this mouse making you more productive? Because I can stand up and move around. I'm not, which is better for your health, right? I'm not stuck on my desk, kind of. Yeah. So it's fun. I get my steps in as well, right? Yeah. All right. Next question is, how's the studio going? You said your TV studio will be coming soon. How's it going? So I'm still working on it. This is this angle here it's not a professional angle here, but I redid the walls here. And let me see if I could. Actually, I can't show you guys a massive view. I don't have the right lens attached here, but it's going well. It's going well. So I want to be able to take on a lot of television news programs as well. Yeah. Unbiased, meaning no commercials. Yeah. All right, next question is, I think it's been really long since I wrote a book. I announced this today. My third book will be out before the 31st of March of this year. That's the bottom line because Manas Roy said it, so I'll declare it online. Nice. And I like that you're doing that because a lot of people, they fail with their New Year's resolutions because they don't set a deadline date. And so most people give up by the third week of January on their New Year's resolutions. But if you set a deadline date and you vocalize it, you tell people about your goal, the likelihood of it coming true goes up materially. So remember that. The bottom line is always, whenever you have a BAG goal, BHAG, meaning big, hairy, audacious goal, which we used to say in VC, whenever you have a BAG goal, you got to tell people and you got to set a deadline date. Otherwise, it's just a dream. All right. And then Ashira is saying, hey, Chris. Hey, Ashira, how are you? The question is, how do I handle humiliating criticism by someone of authority, for example, my boss, in front of colleagues because of a little mess up? And how do I handle criticism in general? What a wonderful question. Yeah. So before I answer that, I want to say a quote that's going to resonate with you, which is this. Unjustified criticism is nothing more than a disguised compliment. Okay. A lot of bosses feel incredibly insecure. I was let go years ago from a company. I made them a ton of money, did well. I got along with everybody. I mentored other people, but my boss might have thought he hired his assassin. And I remember at the time I was so confused, and I talked to my dad. I was like, Dad, I don't get it. And, my dad said, years from now, you look back and be grateful it happened. And I am grateful because it basically pushed me to start my own company years later. So with frustration comes breakthrough. and allows you to reinvent yourself. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So I want you to embrace that frustration and let that put fire in your belly, so to speak. Ow, that hurt. Let that put fire in your belly to motivate you to start your own company. And if I can help you start your company, then I've served my purpose, right? That's my why. And so you can go to this web address here and take my complete business plan course to start your own company, or go to this address here to take my complete job course to get a better job, or go to this website here to take my MBA degree program that goes into much, much more detail on those aforementioned topics. Frustration is a good thing in life. And don't take offense. Like you'll learn to be thick-skinned after a while after you get criticized. I remember when I was younger, I got criticized in business. And at first it hurt. It hurt. And then it's like Teflon, because you tell yourself this boss is insecure. He or she is criticizing me because maybe they feel threatened by me. And thank you for that criticism, because unjustified criticism is nothing more than a disguised compliment. And I made this YouTube video that I'm very proud of. Most proud of this vlog. I've done about 1,000 of these. It's called Corporate Bullies. It's called Corporate Bullies. And do a search on it. I promise you it'll help you kind of think of things differently. Because those that bully you, it's like they peaked in high school. Like they're the bouncer at a nightclub. That's all they're going to do in life. So they're, like a jock on the football team or something, talks about his glory days, back in high school. Get with the times. That was 8 million years ago. So just remember that unjustified criticism is nothing more than a disguised compliment. So bring it on, doubters. And with frustration leads to breakthroughs. And I remember I worked at Accenture, and there was this associate partner from the Orange County office that was in Toronto when I was working on the merger of Nations Bank, or pardon me, the merger of Manulife and Confederation Life. I worked on the merger of Nations Bank and Bank of America years ago in the Carolinas. At Accenture as well. But this partner from the Orange County office, it was one night. It was late 1995. I was 23, and it was 10 p.m. one night at Manulife, our client side. And he asked me to print out a database report. It was a database I didn't create. And I tried really, really hard to create that report. And I was nervous I was going to mess up the field, the primary key, and all that stuff in this relational database. And so I went up to him and I said, I'm so sorry, sir. I tried. I just can't figure it out. And he looked at me and he goes, "It's because you're incompetent." And then he turned his back and he walked away. And I remember at the time I was hurt. And I'm actually glad in hindsight that he did that. I'm glad because it motivated me big time to get a better job and eventually start my own company. So I would never have to deal with that criticism again. Unjustified criticism is nothing more than a disguised compliment. Take those frustrations you're feeling at work and channel that into starting your own company or getting a better job. And you can take my courses to do that. It's risk-free. There's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. You can take the courses and get your money back within 30 days. I don't care. I just want to help. Channel that frustration. Years from now, you'll look back and say, thank God it happened. Thank God I was guided down a different path. And don't worry about, career stuff anyway. At least I don't. And this is just me. I don't worry about anything business related because I always tell myself, God already knows what's going to happen, which gives me peace of mind. Just remember, unjustified criticism is nothing more than a disguised compliment. Always, yeah. And boy, am I grateful that prick from the Orange County office, that associate partner, I'll never name his name, from Accenture, was a prick to me. It's weird. You look back and you're like, with crisis comes opportunity. But I am sorry you're going through that. Yeah. And any boss that's going to criticize you in public is a prick. I'm getting animated today, but I hate it when my students feel frustrated because I fight for you. I'm like your pit bull on a pork chop. So I believe in the best management strategy of criticizing in private, but only praising in public. There's nothing worse than being berated unfairly by an insecure boss in front of your peers. Okay. All right. Next, Shock Rolo is saying, I want to know what's your net worth. Yeah. It's not that much. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. By the way, if you want to bankrupt me, and I hope you do, here's what I want you to do. There's a charity that I started, or actually Vital, one of my great students from Rwanda, started, and we're building schools. And for every $1 that you donate, I will match dollar for dollar. So if you go to Project Magoo, MAGU.org, if you go to Project Magoo, projectmagu.org, you can donate there. And every dollar that you donate, I will match. And I hope you guys bankrupt me. Yeah. And we're building schools. Vital, one of my wonderful MBA students and former Udemy student, we're building schools in Rwanda. The use of proceeds, yeah. Okay. Trying to get this volume to work well here. I think we're good. Okay. All right. Let's see here. And then Dummy Indices wrote, I used to mine Zcash with 1080 Ti cards. Yeah. And when I started mining cryptos, I used Raspberry Pi, and then I moved up to a laptop, a desktop, supercomputer, and then I gave up trying to compete with Bitcoin. I used Antminers instead, so I can be part of a pool, meaning using ASICs. Yeah. There's a lot of college students that will mine cryptos because they don't pay for electricity in their dorm room. Don't do that, ever. Okay. All right, next up, Chepo is saying, hi, Chris. After doing your MBA, can I pursue a PhD? Yeah. So I will never, ever, ever do accreditation. Ever. I'd be hurting my students because the price would have to be a hell of a lot higher. I have a lot of MBA students from top schools that are doing my program as well. And they're saying they're learning a hell of a lot more in a short amount of time and saving money than they did at those schools. I will never do it. I will never have a standards body tell me from an accreditation perspective what I can and cannot teach. I don't want to teach bogus theory. I want to serve you first and not a board and not an accreditation agency at all. And earlier on in today's video, what I did was I showed you a bunch of quotes from 7 high-profile executives on why traditional MBAs from accredited schools suck, including Elon Musk. He said that. So did Sheryl Sandberg from Facebook. So did the founder of Intuit, who has a Harvard MBA. So did Seth Godin, who has wonderful courses on Udemy, and he has a Stanford MBA as well. And Mark Andreessen, a great venture capitalist, and Peter Thiel, etc. They all have horrible things to say about traditional MBAs, which is why I do what I do. Yeah. All right, well, I have to do something right now, which is going to be a little bit crazy, but that's okay. There's something in here which I'll show you guys tomorrow on my webcast, if you join me. And I hope you join me. It'll be a lot of fun. All right. I'm nervous about what I'm going to be doing, but I don't care. All right. So, if you get an MBA from a traditional school, you're throwing money in the garbage. And you're actually, it's like you're burning your money. It's ridiculous. And that's what I think about typical education as well. Traditional universities. I think it's a waste of money. And that smoke smells pretty good, actually. Yeah. All right. That was pretend money, folks. All right, next up, Tony is saying, is there a way to sign up for your entrepreneurship classes only, aside from your offline courses? I mean, with you, just like the MBA program, but specifically entrepreneurship chapters only. I'm glad you're saying that. We're actually looking into that. What I just did was I asked Doug, who's one of my employees, great guy. He lives in Collingwood, Canada, but he's in the Dominican Republic on vacation for a couple months working there. My students or my staff work all over the world. Matt, my chief creative officer, is in Iowa. My sales and marketing team is in Toronto. There's Joey, Elon, Cassandra, and Joe. They all work together. They're awesome. I have employees all over the world, which is great. But I'm thinking about that. I had Doug, who's in the Dominican Republic. I had him replicate the silver version of my MBA degree program 5 times. And I am looking at making 5 individual tracks, meaning personal growth. These are the 5 components of the MBA program. Personal growth, sales, marketing, and communications, economics management and strategy, entrepreneurship, and finance and accounting. So we're looking into doing 5 separate. They're going to cost a lot more than just doing the MBA though. But we are looking into that right now. And so earlier today, what I did was I showed you guys a component of the MBA degree program. One of the ones I don't think I showed you was sales, marketing, and communications. So let's check this out. This will be short. All right, next question I've got is from Manas, who's saying, thanks for everything. Glad to be on your side. People have family doctors, but you're my family instructor. Thank you. I'm humbled and proud to be a part of your life. Thank you. And you wrote, my mom is learning from you. My sister is learning YouTube from you, and my aunt as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And I treat my students like they're the customer. Imagine that. A teacher treating a student who's paying for a product like they're the customer. Yeah. And then you wrote here, God bless you and your family forever. Just be yourself always. Thank you for all those wonderful emojis. And one of my favorite songs is by Sting. It's called An Englishman in New York. And one of the lines is, be yourself no matter what they say. And it takes a man to suffer ignorance and smile. So laugh at me, not with me always. Yeah, thank you. All right. Next up, Pratik is saying, family instructor. And then you put LOL there. You said, Chris, you've made a lot of changes in me, and I thank myself for buying my entire MBA in one course. Thank you, which got me introduced to you. Thank you. By the way, it's going to be a year now since I bought your first course. Thank you. Thank you, Pratik. I appreciate it. God bless you. Thanks for the support. That course has been, it's kind of changed my life a bit. And that course, the entire MBA in one course, that actually, I recorded that in one day. And the reason I did it was because I was teaching that to a charity I'm on the board of, the Limo Foundation, where we were in East Palo Alto, where the high school graduation rate's only 40%. And so I taught it to those students on a Saturday. It was 12 hours. I called it an entire MBA in one day. And then the next day on Sunday, what I did was I did the same thing. I put up a camera at home and recorded it in a day, and never expected it to do as well as it did. But I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I wanted to help. Yeah. And that course has been great. And that course is now, I think it's my sixth best-selling course now. So finally I've dethroned it with other stuff. For years, it was tough for me. I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to compete with that course. I can't. I can't dethrone it. And I'm happy to say that it's worked out okay. And in terms of the reason why I compete with myself like that is I saw a speech, an Oscar speech from Matthew McConaughey that kind of changed my life. So he won Best Oscar in 2014, I think, for Dallas Buyers Club. And he gave this epic speech. You'll have to watch, just YouTube it, Matthew McConaughey, where he talked about competing with himself in the future, so, and in the past. So always trying to push the goalpost out, as Canadians say. Yeah. All right, next question is from Dennis. Hey, Dennis. Dennis is asking, what are the 5 most important criteria you follow when what are the 5 most important criteria you follow when building a portfolio? Yeah. So for me, I look at diversification. Okay. So I provide you with all the tools and arrows in your arsenal, so to speak, in my MBA degree program for this. But I look at diversification. Okay. So that's number 1. And in terms of diversification, I like to have 20% of assets in any one category. So for example, 20% stocks, bonds, commodities, REITs, real estate investment trusts, etc. And then if you want, you can do some cryptos, but don't make it an entire 20%. That's a lot. Yeah. So that's what I think about. So that's number 1. Number 2, I think of sector diversification as well. So not all in tech stocks. I want industrial stocks. I also want to have retail stocks, like McDonald's ticker MCD, for example, or Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, or telecommunication stocks or healthcare stocks, that sort of thing. Okay, that's 2. Number 3, I want geographic diversification as well. I don't want to just be exposed to the US or Canada. I want Europe exposure. I want BRIC exposure. Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Well, BIC exposure, no Russia. Yeah. Then what I look at next is I look at bottoms-up analysis on individual stocks and investments. And I have a 100-step investment research framework that I use to analyze each individual stock. And it's part of the MBA degree program. And it looks like this. It's part of this little trailer. And this trailer is just the finance portion of the MBA degree program. You'll see the 100-step research process in this short little video here. And the 5th and final thing I look at is currency exposure. Yeah, I don't want to just be exposed to US dollar-based investments. And I know that you might think, well, Chris, wait a second. You said geographic exposure already. Well, there are countries I invest in that have fixed exchange rates that are tied to the US dollar. So I like to have different currency exposure as well. I'm not saying sit on cash because cash is trash, but I mean currency in terms of stock markets that are based on certain currencies, that sort of thing. Okay. All right, next up, Tony 2 times is saying, Chris, I don't thank you enough for your work. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Next up, MBA is saying, hey, Chris, hope you're well. Likewise. Quick question. And by the way, you'll notice sometimes that I pause for a split second before I read the question. or if I don't read it properly, I say it again. The reason I do that is because everything I do in this webcast is being repurposed, right? So you'll see a lot of times vlogs will come out of questions you all ask. And I read the question first clearly so it can be added to the beginning of the vlog. So the question is, when you're forecasting debt and share-based compensation, can you forecast it as a percent of revenue? Yeah. So there's two sets of financial statements you look at. One is for the accountants, which is called GAAP, and the other one is for the finance people, which is called non-GAAP or pro forma, same thing. If you look at GAAP financial statements, non-cash stuff is included, like depreciation, as well as share-based compensation, okay, or options-based, which is in sales and marketing for sales and marketing folks, G&A for general administrative folks like people that do operations, and then R&D for people that work in research and development. Okay, so that's all included here within GAAP. I like to look at non-GAAP because it doesn't include that stuff. And so I like to look at non-GAAP, and this is what finance people look at whenever I'm forecasting financial statements and what the value of a company should be, because these are cash-based earnings. It doesn't include non-cash-based stuff like depreciation or amortization or share-based compensation, and that rhymed when it comes to GAAP. Yeah, so I look at this here. Now, in terms of debt, in terms of debt as a percent of revenue, no, I don't look at it that way. I don't look at it that way because a company might grow quickly, but it might not be because of debt. They might be taking cash they've made, like cash earnings, which is net earnings basically from the pro forma income statement. They might be taking cash and putting that back into the business and not debt. Okay. All right, next up, Mas is saying, hi, Chris, I'm doing your MBA on my own pace. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying it. And if you're not 100% satisfied within the first 30 days, get your money back or do the whole thing if you can in 30 days. It'll be hard. It's over 300 hours. But ask for your money back. All right, hold on a second, guys. Okay, hold on. I'm going to put you on mute so I All right, I'm back. I feel better. Thanks. I was a little verklempt, but I'm good now. Okay. So Mas is saying, I'm doing your MBA at my own pace. What is a high ticket sale? Is it true? What is the process? Yeah. So I don't teach it that way. I know what you're talking about. But what I will say is big customers are less work than small customers. Always. Always elephant hunt. Because small customers have a bigger percent of their liquid net worth with you. And so they require quite often more customer support, which eats into margins. And there are a lot of software companies that make video games, that if they get 2 customer support calls, they've lost money on that product. So I like to think of very, very big customers whenever I can from a big ticket perspective. So I have to hold up a big ticket when I'm explaining this. Yeah. And so the best way to find big ticket customers is to network aggressively, which I teach in the first semester, in the first 10 personal growth classes. Okay, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. And if you don't, please get your money back. There's a 100% money back guarantee, or binge watch the whole damn thing in 29 days and then get your money back if you want even. Yeah, thanks. Big ticket. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that was terrible dad humor. Okay. Thank you, Mas, for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, next up, a question from Pearl. Pearl is saying, guys, get the networking book. I guess this one here. Yeah, you wrote a shameless plug. Here we go. It's free from my website, harounventures.com. Pearl wrote, get the networking book. It's a transformational guide you never knew you needed. Honest truth. Thank you, Pearl. I appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you. Thanks. Okay. Gotta get some water here. Thanks again, Pearl. All right, next up, Tony is saying, Chris, Congrats on the new building you purchased in London, Ontario. Thank you. Thank you. My wife did all the work. She's great. Yeah. Then you wrote, we're currently looking to invest in a rental property in Kitchener-Waterloo. For those not familiar with Kitchener, it's like an hour or so outside of Toronto. It used to be called Berlin up until World War II. Then they changed it to Kitchener. And you wrote here, we're open to looking in London. We're tempted to buy in Montreal as well. Yeah. What I like about London, Ontario is that it's kind of recession-proof real estate there, sort of, because there's a big university there, University of Western Ontario. And so people still go to universities in recessions, and I rent to students. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then Tony said, we'll take any advice you have or even a real estate agent contact whom you trust. Yeah. So if you want, there's a friend that I have. So Christine, my wife, her best friend is named Carol Carazza. And her husband is Tom Carazza. And we go to Italy. We go to vacation with them a lot. They're good people. And so Tom Carazza and his brother started a company called Rockstar Real Estate. And so I get advice every now and then from Tom. He understands real estate better than anybody I know. And he's a good guy too. Yeah. Based in Toronto, Rockstar Real Estate. Yeah. All right. Sorry. And I've got a course, the complete real estate course coming out later this year as well. Yeah. But you can learn more from Tom than you can from me. Yeah. All right. Next question is from Harsh, who's saying, I'm in my first year of college. I'm learning business. Everything I'm learning in this college is, and you wrote here, SHIT. I took your accounting course. I loved it. Should I drop out? Yeah, I can't make that decision for you. Here's what I would do. I would look at your 10-year goals. Where do you want to be in life in 10 years? Okay. And will getting that education help you get closer to that or not? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. All right, next up. Oh my goodness, Heathens Nations Music, and I remember your name. I haven't seen you in about a year. I hope you're doing well. You always remind me of HMV. I used to shop at in Toronto. That stands for His Majesty's Voice. It used to be an old record shop, almost as good as Sam the Record Man. But Heathens Nations Music wrote, "Good morning, Chris and community. Hope it's always a spring in your heart. Thank you. It always is. Yeah, I love to be alive. Thank you. I'm never dying. Yeah. And I'm going to live to 150. And so are all of you. All right. All right. Next up. So Heathens Nation Music is saying, can you give any general career advice for folks who have less than a clean background regarding a criminal history on their record? I love this question. I got myself into legal trouble at the end of 2019, and I'm trying to bounce back. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. And I do a lot of volunteer work in Redwood City, in the McGuire Correctional Facility, in the prison there. I go in and I help these poor kids, these 20-year-old guys that have a deadbeat father. There's no such thing as a deadbeat mother. And I could have easily been there, and I never got caught, but I did bad stuff too, or whatever it is. Got to be careful what I said. Yeah, but you know what I'm getting at. Yeah. So what I recommend doing is don't apply to jobs. This goes to everybody. Don't just apply for a job, because every time you see a job opening, there's 8 gazillion people also applying. And the person that gets that job is usually the one that knows somebody at the company. What I recommend you do is this. When you see an opening at a company you want to work at, set up a ton of informational meetings with people that work at that company. You can use this if you want to help you get those informational meetings. Go to my website, Haroun Ventures, to download it, harounventures.com. And in those meetings, you can talk about, what happened to you as well. And you could say you're at the wrong place, the wrong time, and it was unfortunate. I've learned from my mistake as well. Have I bought in drugs before? Have I been caught? But everybody gets it, right? As long as it's not like an egregious crime. But you can explain your way out of it. And you can even say that you've started a charity where you're mentoring other people so that they don't fall into the same trap that you fell into as well. You're mentoring others through the Big Brothers and Sisters Club or whatever it might be. Okay. There's always a way to explain it. And what you can also do is you can network with other people that attended the same correctional facility that you were in as well. You can find them and just ask them, how do they explain it? How do they explain it? Yeah. So everybody deserves a second chance. People love it when people redeem themselves. It's inspirational. A lot of successful people have served time in jail. A lot of them. A lot. Like even Tim Allen. Remember that TV show Home Improvement? He's Buzz Lightyear as well, the voiceover in the Toy Story franchise. He was in jail, for, I think, drug trafficking. So was Jay-Z. So, I mean, he was a dealer, Jay-Z, at least. I'm not sure if he served time in jail. I'm not sure if he did. But everybody knows it, and everyone deserves a second chance. And it's inspirational, too. And you inspire me going for this right now. And I want to humbly help you if I possibly can. So in fact, send me a message to my LinkedIn address and I'll give you my MBA degree program for free. Okay? Everyone deserves a second chance and I'm with you. Okay. Yeah. And that should answer that second question you have there as well about bouncing back. Yeah. Don't worry. Okay. All right. But I remember when I went into the prison system in Redwood City, there was this kid I talked to, and he was going to be serving like 10 years in jail. And what he did was he sold weed, which is legal now. It's BS that he was even there. And God bless Kim Kardashian, which she's a beautiful soul for what she's trying to do with prison reform, right? Fully support her. But there's this guy, and he was in jail for a decade. This young kid for selling weed. And I said, that's ridiculous. Why a decade? And he said, well, I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I said, well, tell me more. And he said, well, I actually sold it on the Presidio. And the Presidio is part of San Francisco. Okay, it's where George Lucas has one of his offices, right? LucasArts. And a lot of hedge funds are there too, and Peter Thiel's venture capital fund. He said, I was on the Presidio, which is federal grounds. It used to be old military barracks. And I sold weed there. And if you sell weed, or at that time, on federal property, you get 10 years in jail. But if he was across the street in San Francisco, slap on the wrist, that's it. So everybody deserves a second chance. And everybody loves and is motivated by you and anybody that's had a setback in life and they bounce back. Don't believe me? It's the story of every celebrity in America, right? Every celebrity, like Robert Downey Jr. He got into a lot of trouble earlier in his career. He inspires me so much. He beat that addiction, and he also he put his criminal past behind him. And he had an awful upbringing. His dad smoked weed with him or drugs before he was 10 years old. He bounced back from his days in the 80s. It was terrible. A lot of people have bounced back. Tiger Woods, of course, we know what happened to him. He watched the documentary, please, on HBO. It's amazing. People love to give you a second chance or a third chance. Always. It's inspirational. You inspire me even thinking about making a comeback. And I'm going to walk through walls to make sure you're successful. Again, send me that message over LinkedIn. And what I'll do is I'll provide you with my MBA degree program for free. Everybody deserves a second chance. Always. There's so many actors out there and famous people that went to rehab or were caught for something and put in jail for a couple of days. You can turn yourself around. I believe you and I believe in you, and I'm going to walk through walls for you. You're never paying for any of my courses or MBA degree programs ever again, okay? Send me a LinkedIn message. We're in this together. Okay. Next question's from Peyton, who's one of my MBA students. Good dude. So Peyton is saying, what did you think about Nintendo's new lineup? Yeah. So if you're talking about that new game they re-released to repurpose content, which is a brilliant strategy, I think it's great. I love it. There's a smaller part of it, which I was talking about earlier in the webcast. A new game was added. It's a Bowser game. The sonic architecture of the hard rock music is astounding when you play it. It's amazing. Nintendo's really done something incredibly innovative here, like they always do. All the older generations are stuck on the same damn controller, right? Which Nintendo pioneered with the 16-bit version. Nintendo always takes risks. That's why we do a big case study in the MBA program. But this Bowser game they have is amazing. It's dark. It's dark, like not rated R dark, but it's like Metallica type music, and it's insane. I love it. It's great. It's great. I'm a fan. All right, but if you're talking about other games, like the Zelda game, which is supposed to come out later this year, Breath of the Wild Part 2 or whatever it is, I don't even know. I'm excited for that too. Yeah. Or my kids are. Yeah. That's the only reason we have a Nintendo Switch, is because my kids, they want to play it. So, it's like they'll be playing Super Mario Galaxy 2, which is better than number 1. And they'll say, Daddy, can you help me with this level? I'm like, okay, fine. It's like a full-time job, Yeah. All right. I've got to get some food here. I bought this new Breville juicer. It's great. Yeah. With a scoop of whey protein. All right. All right, next question is from Marwan, who's saying, what do you advise finance students do who want to get into the investment management industry? Yeah. So you can take my complete financial analyst course if you want to, which you can get at this web address, or sign up for my MBA degree program, which goes into much more detail as well. But I think the most important thing for the finance industry is networking. And I know I say this over and over again, but I care, and it works. Okay, it works for me. And it'll work for you too. Download my networking book from my website, harounventures.com. Because there's not that many new jobs that open up in the finance industry, in investment management at least, if you want to work at a mutual fund or a hedge fund. You have to network aggressively. You have to. It's the only way to get a job in this sector, because if you see an opening for a job online and you apply, 5,000 other people did as well. The person that gets the job usually knows someone there. And in my MBA degree program, I teach you how to make a resume on steroids, much more so than my other courses as well, and how to interview and how to add tremendous value to those interviews. So when you meet with somebody in an interview or an informational meeting, just remember they're motivated by 3 things. They want to make more money, they want to get promoted faster, and they want to enjoy their job more. So I want you to think of one of 3 ways to help that become a reality to them. Every battle is won before it's been fought. If you sign up for my MBA degree program at this web address here, I'll provide you with 12 templates that you will bring, brand new templates I've made, to your meetings. Yeah. All right, next up, Pratik is saying, how can we work towards making the educational system more edutaining? Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say teach online. Everybody has something to teach. And when one teaches, 2 learn. And when you teach online, you can do it in a more edutaining way, using props like I like I do. I think that show and tell works exceptionally well. When people can visualize exactly what you're doing with a prop, it's better that way. And what you can do if you don't have the budget to do it is you can buy a prop from eBay, like an old stock certificate or something like I have here. You can buy a prop like this from eBay, and then what you can do is teach your course and then sell this prop back if you want to over eBay. So it's almost like you rented it. So when you buy some on eBay, and if you sell it back on eBay for the same price, then you're going to pay like a 10% fee. So it's like you rent it for 5 to 10%. Always use a prop. Show and tell works. It worked when we were younger. I don't know why we don't do it anymore. It works really, really well. Yeah. And anybody can teach. And when one teaches, 2 learn. And what you can do if you want to is you can go to Udemy, Udemy, and do a search on my name. And there are a handful of courses I make that are free that'll teach you how to teach online. Everybody has something to teach. Everybody does. And take my courses that are free because they teach you how to teach and not make mistakes like I've done. And so one of the courses is called 40 Tips on How to Make a Great Online Course. And that's based on 40 mistakes I made teaching online. Another course I made is called I'm not very creative, another 40 Tips on how to make a great online course based on another 40 mistakes I've made so that you can work smarter and not harder and get your course up online which will cost you next to nothing because you already have everything you need, which is one of these things. This is your fishing rod now, okay? And this is all you need to make a course. Cell phone, yeah. Not the credit card. All right. And everybody can teach. I mean, there's a woman named, I think, Patricia Greenway, I think her name is. And she teaches, and she was in an abusive marriage. This bastard was really mean to her. And she had like 10 kids. And she finally found the courage to stand up to that prick and leave him. And she left with a couple of her kids that were younger. And she was living off of food stamps. And she was like, what can I do that I love that I can make money from and help other people? And she loves to bake bread. How prophetic. And so what she did was she taught courses on how to bake bread on Udemy, and she's been a massive success. Yeah, and she's made a fortune too. The same thing with Ninja, the dude that plays Fortnite. So he started out, he makes millions now from Twitch. He's back on Twitch now, yeah. So he started out teaching on Udemy how to use Twitch. Everybody has something to teach. Everybody does. It's the best side hustle ever because it's the only side hustle from a services perspective where you can have 1 million customers in every country watching at the same time. You can do much better as a teacher than as a doctor and a lawyer, financially speaking. Why? Because if you're a doctor, or God forbid, a lawyer, if you're a civil rights lawyer, I love you. If you're a doctor, or God forbid, a non-civil rights lawyer, you can only have one customer at a time. If you're a teacher, you can teach millions of students at the same time overnight. All day long. It's write once, read many. WORM. Worm. Write once, read many. You make it once, you put it online, and it sells. Right? And if it doesn't sell right away, don't give up, dude. I had to create like a bunch of courses before any of them took off. Don't give up. Just keep at it. Keep at it. And you can change the world, enhance the lives of others, enhance your own life as well from a remuneration perspective, etc. Just don't give up. Keep trying and learn from my many mistakes, please. I made tons of them. And if you want to make a course like mine, any of my courses on Udemy, what I want you to do is this. Okay, and this is part of educational Darwinism, a concept that I love. It basically means the strongest courses do best, which means, and the student wins. Competition's good for the customer, which is the student. So go to my courses on Udemy and do a search just based on, or filter 1-star reviews in my courses. I have tons of them. I have 150,000 reviews. I have a ridiculously high number of 1-star awful reviews. Read why I fail, okay? Why I get those 1-star reviews and make a better version of my course. Please. All my courses, make better versions. Because competition is good for the student, the customer, and the customer wins. And I remember when I first started making courses, I went to bed one night and I woke up, and this is when I was working full-time venture capital. I woke up the next morning. I was like, oh my God, I made $20 overnight. And I called my dad. I said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. Last night when I was sleeping, I made $20. And my dad said to me, then honey, why did you wake up? Now you know where I get my dad humor from. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, the question is, about HR. I already answered that one. Yeah. All right. Let me see here. Jasper. Hey, Jasper. Jasper is saying, hey, Chris, what does it mean when a company brings their quarterly earnings conference call forward? Why would a company do that? Yeah. That's very rare. So let me take a step back and talk about conference calls with companies that are publicly traded. So companies that report earnings, and they report 4 times a year, every 3 months, okay? Quarterly earnings. A lot of them, when they report earnings, when the press release comes out after hours, usually after the markets close, they'll hold a conference call, which is usually about 45 minutes long. And in the conference call, in the first 15 minutes or so, the management team, meaning investor relations, CEO and CFO, the management team will read a script. And they usually start off the script with, we had another amazing quarter, even if it wasn't amazing. It's true. It is what it is. Then what they do is they take questions from Wall Street analysts that work at big firms like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Haroun Sachs, MHS, etc. Kidding about that last part, of course. But they'll take questions and from the street. And the analysts ask great questions that we all want to know. And you can take my complete financial analyst course or my MBA degree program for even more details on how the whole process works. Now, when a company issues a press release, they issue a press release beforehand to tell you what day the earnings are going to be on, okay? Meaning the earnings call. When they issue that press release to say, here's the date we're going to be holding this conference call and releasing earnings, that means they're not going to miss earnings. Sometimes you'll see stocks go up for weird reasons and everyone thinks they're going to miss earnings, and they set a press release saying we're going to release earnings at this point and do a conference call in the future. That means they made earnings. And sometimes they'll positively announce, pre-announce, or negatively pre-announce as well. Yeah. In terms of pulling forward the call, it's very, very rare that I've seen that done before. Yeah. And usually it might be if certain news is just about to leak. Maybe the New York Times or Wall Street Journal got access to something and they're about to release it in the news. And the company wants to front run that before that news comes out. And sometimes they hold an earnings call earlier because of that, because they found out about a big deal, right? So a lot of times when companies get acquired or make a big acquisition, if the press finds out about it and the company finds out the press is about to leak it, they might front run that, put out a press release themselves, or do an earnings call earlier than expected. Yeah. All right. And for some reason, like the press doesn't get in trouble for insider information. It's bizarre. But as long as they don't transact on it, but the press kind of gets a hall pass. It's strange. And they'll say something like this when they breaking news, like a New York Times deal book, which is great. They'll say, according to people familiar with the matter, X company is about to buy Y company. Yeah. And by the way, if you ever hear insider information, don't transact because you will get caught. Tell your compliance director if you work at a big firm. Yeah. And you'll be a hero. All right. Okay. Next up, Pratik is saying, I started streaming video games on YouTube and Twitch. Very cool. And by the way, in my MBA degree program, I teach you how to use all streaming software like Wirecast, which you have to pay for, which I'm using now. I also teach you in my MBA degree program in the third semester. I teach you how to use a free version of the product I'm using right now called OBS, which stands for Open Broadcasting Software. I teach you how to use Streamlabs as well. And I teach you how to use Twitch. I actually do a Twitch stream on it as well. Yeah. And so Pratik is saying, I started streaming video games on YouTube and Twitch. Please recommend to me a name that I can give to the channel. For now, it's just Pratik Nawali, your name. I'm looking for a cool name. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'd make it something short, like Ninja has. Something that's catchy and something that hasn't been taken. And you can actually trademark it as well. Yeah. So come up with the idea, trademark it, and then launch if you want to. And I've trademarked a ton of stuff. Yeah. And I teach you how to do that in my MBA degree program in a lot of detail as well. Yeah. All right. Next up, Farhan said, are you into virtual reality gaming? I've tried it. I have Oculus. I also have the PlayStation VR product as well. I'm a bigger fan of PlayStation VR, which is weird because they don't have as much great content as Oculus does. Oculus gets me a little bit dizzy. Yeah. And so I can't do it for more than half an hour or so. And I love games. Yeah. So yeah, I think what's going to be very, very big one day is AR gaming. Kind of like what Nintendo always pushes the envelope. And so I got Dylan, my youngest son, for Christmas. I got Dylan, and only for him and not for me, that new Mario game, where it's Mario Kart, but it's a real car you drive, and it's got AR, and it's awesome. He doesn't play the game though, in AR mode. He chases the cat around with it. Just saying, it's true. And he laughs while he does it too, because he's looking down at the screen, chasing the cat around the house. Okay. All right. Next up, Fred is saying, Shout out from Uzbekistan, Chris, citing your crypto course on Udemy. Thank you. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. And I'm so sorry for my dad humor in it. Yeah. Laugh at me, not with me, as always. Okay. And then Afzal is saying, hi from London. Hey, London. How are you, man? Hey, Afzal. Hope you're doing well. And the best tourist attraction ever in England, by the way, everyone should go to. It's the Churchill War Rooms. And it's right by Buckingham Palace. And you go underground, and you could see where Winston Churchill managed all of his officers for strategic planning for World War II. And there's one part where the Nazis bombed just right on top of where he was. And he came out in the streets, and there's famous pictures of it. He almost got, the whole thing almost collapsed. But what they did was they kept the Churchill War Rooms intact. So everything is left as is after 1946. It's incredible. Even the sugar cubes on the table for the tea that the soldier or the officers were using. It's pretty cool. Check that out if you can. Yeah. Oh, and I got to give you one Winston Churchill quote. He said, "I once met a man who on his deathbed talked about all the problems he had in his life, none of which came true." Okay. How are we doing on time? We've got just under half hour left. And if I don't answer all your questions, just save them for next week, please. Or what you can do is if you're one of my MBA degree students in gold or platinum, you can ask on our webcast we're doing just for you guys at 11:20 a.m. today. We do it every Thursday as well. And for those of you that if you buy the silver version of the MBA degree program, I just created this new policy whereby every dollar you spend on it is a deduction if you want to upgrade to gold or platinum at some point in the future. Yeah. All right. Now, Usama, how are you? Usama is one of my gold students. He's from Jordan. How are you, man? I hope you're doing well. Okay, and it was good laughing with you the other day about the word caffeine. Usama is saying, hello. It's been 4 weeks since I attended here. I'll see you later on tonight. Awesome. I'll see you soon, buddy. Awesome. And I have MBA students only office hours for gold and platinum today at 11:20, as I mentioned. And Usama is the quintessential gentleman. He's a good dude. Yeah. All right. And I'm not an arrogant guy, but I'm a very good judge of character. Yeah. All right. Next up, Fred is saying, I've become a software developer. And I'm not sure if I'm enjoying it very much. I have natural communication skills. I get along with people very easily. I can negotiate and present very well. Should I quit? Yeah. No, I'm laughing at the next comment there from Farhan. Yeah. I wouldn't quit until you find out what your passion is. It's like you got something that's paying the bills as well, which is great. So what I would do is I would go on a long walk by yourself for like 10 hours. Bring a backpack and you go to Starbucks or Tim Hortons, better coffee in Canada if you're Canadian, which has 70% market share, which is insane. It's amazing. Go on a long walk by yourself and just think to yourself, what is your perfect life in 10 years? And we do a lot of goal setting workshops in my MBA degree program. You can go here to learn more. Okay. But go on that long walk and think, what's your perfect life in 10 years? And then there's a gap between where you are now and where you want to be in 10 years, and think about how to fill that gap. And if you're not passionate about software development, then get out of that industry, but find what your real passion is first. And if I can humbly help you make that career transition, I'd love to be a part of it. Okay. So there's this great quote I have here. The two most important days in your life are number 1, the day you're born, and number 2, the day you find out why. If I can humbly help you find your why, then I've served my purpose. And you can sign up for my complete job course at this link here, or my MBA degree program, and I'll help you get there. If not, your money back 100%. You got a 30-day money back guarantee. You can watch my courses in the MBA program in 30 days or whatever. Might be tough in 30 days for the MBA program, and get your money back. I want to help you. Yeah. All right. Now, Farhan is saying that sorry is the most Canadian thing ever. I know, sorry. But Americans say it wrong. It's not sorry. It's sorry. That's just how it's said. In fact, anybody who speaks English out there, it's sorry. Say it with me. Sorry. All right. Next up, Jason D'Souza is saying, hey, Chris, eagerly awaiting your real estate course. Thank you for everything you do. God bless you and your family abundantly. God bless you and your family way, way more. And thank you. And now that I said it, that I'm doing the real estate course and I set a deadline date, which is later this year, I have to get it done now. Yeah. Damn it. Yeah. All right. Usama is saying, I just want to say that everybody should join your MBA program. Thank you. You're an amazing professor in person. Thank you, Usama. God bless you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Excellent. I would give you the antithesis of kafen now. That's an Arabic word for yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you today, too. Okay. Next up, Naman is saying, what is the most important key qualities for making a business strategy? Yeah. Whew. That's really tough for me to answer. I do believe that failing to plan is planning to fail. And I'm amazed at how few people create a business plan. And so I have a course called the Complete Business Plan course you can take at this link, or you can sign up for my MBA degree program. In the MBA degree program, we do a much higher end version of that business plan through what's called the Venture Capital Bootcamp. And let me show you just a quick trailer of what's in the entrepreneurial part of the MBA degree program. I'll be right back. All right. Thanks, everyone, for your patience. Okay. All right. Next comment here I've got from Oren, who's saying, berating someone, even if deserved, is a poor leadership strategy. Absolutely. You gotta praise in public and criticize only in private. Yeah. And if you guys work for pricks that shouldn't be managing people, that's okay, because you're learning how not to manage people. It's a lesson. Yeah. And just do a search on my YouTube vlog on corporate bullies. It's a vlog I'm very proud of. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Let me give it a next question here. All right. Next up, Corey is saying, where can I buy the books for EPUB so I can read on my Kobo? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I use Kindle when I read. I've stopped reading. I do Audible now. I don't have the bandwidth anymore to read. Yeah. All right. And then Corey is saying, hey, if you guys want to buy in Windsor, Ontario, Windsor, Ontario is right across from Detroit in Canada. It's where a lot of people that are 19 in Detroit come to drink, because the drinking age in Canada is 19, it's 21 in the US. Yeah. But they have much more than that in Windsor. And so Corey wrote, if anyone wants to buy in Windsor, I have a prop management company here, and I can manage it for you. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. And Corey, I do the same thing too. There's a management company I pay 10 or 11% per year of the rental amount. I know it sounds like a lot, but I do it because I don't want to have to fly to London, Ontario to manage my buildings and all that stuff. Yeah. So it's a great business model you've got. Yeah. And what's happening here in the Bay Area is there's tons of houses. I live in a town called Hillsborough, but there's a lot of houses here that are empty. They're very well maintained, but they're owned by billionaire Chinese families. It's bizarre. And I'm sure they have a management company maintaining them as well. Yeah. All right. And then Heathens, A Nation Music, who earlier I said, contact me. You're getting my MBA degree program for free. And Heathens Nation Music mentioned that he or she had got caught for something and was arrested. And I say there's always, when something bad happens to a friend of mine or somebody I know, or even with you, I've gotten to know you over the past year here. I run towards you, not away from you. I'm here to help. Send me that message over email, and I'll give you my MBA degree program for free. Yeah. And a lot of people contact me over email or LinkedIn, and I don't respond because I don't see them. I get a lot of, so I will search for your name there. Yeah. Make sure in the LinkedIn message, write in Heathen Nations Music. So I can know, thanks. So I can search for it. Yeah. And then you wrote, Chris, thank you for that wonderful response. I'll definitely email via LinkedIn soon about the MBA course. I haven't been on the live chats very often since because of dealing with court. Yeah. And I noticed that you weren't here for a while, but I hope everything is going okay for you. And don't worry, because God already knows what's going to happen, and that should put you at ease. All right. And then you wrote here, I won't let you down. Neither will I. And I will walk through walls to help you. Okay. All right. And then Moz, earlier I said to Moz, you can get it, he said he signed up for the program. I said, dude, take it within 30 days if you want, get your money back, or if you don't like it, get your money back anyway. And then Moz wrote, nah, I'm keeping your MBA program. Thank you. Oh, next up we have Eileen, who graduated from my Platinum program last year. Eileen has got the best last name you've ever heard of. Check this out. Eileen's last name is, and she's based in Atlanta, has a very successful healthcare company. She's doing great. She wrote, her last name, is Deo Gracias. And Deo Gracias means thank you, God. Best last name ever. Yeah. Much better than my last name, which people call Haroun or Haroun. Yeah. So Eileen wrote here, hi, Chris. Hope you're doing well. I just dropped in to say hi. Always great to hear from you. Thank you. And Usama, who's in my current gold program, wrote, thank you. You're most welcome, buddy, based on the comment I said before. Remember, the antithesis of caffeine. That's what I give you. That's an insider Arabic joke. Okay. All right. Now I have to tell you what that means. Okay. Usama knows. We were joking about it the other day. My wife, Christine, she's half Greek. The other half is Palestinian. And so her, in their family, they speak Greek, Hebrew, Arabic, and English. And her mom used to say, you better be good, Christine, or I'll give you caffeine. She'd say it in Arabic. And caffeine means 2 slaps to the face, which is a very efficient word because it's 2 slaps in one word. Yeah. It's very smart. So I give you the antithesis of caffeine, not to be confused with caffeine. Yeah. All right. All right. Cool. And I think I'm going to wrap things up right now. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll wrap up in a second here. All right. Next up, I've got Airscape Tours. First time I've seen you on the call. I hope you join us again. Thank you. So Airscape Tours is saying, hi, good morning. Good morning to you too. Housing prices in Sydney have never been higher. They're saying that this could resemble an upwards drop off like the New York Stock Exchange. I think of the Buffett measurements and alarms of last year. Yeah. So, and I know what you're talking about with respect to Warren Buffett. He talks about you want to be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. I was backing up the truck buying stocks last March. of 2020, if you're watching the replay. I'm not buying now. I like to buy stuff when everyone's freaking out. And it feels uncomfortable. As Buffett said, you got to be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. And it's so hard to turn off your emotions when you're investing. It's really, really hard. If you put emotions aside, you'll be a very, very good investor. And so when things go really, really well in a company you start, don't get too happy. I know that's a weird thing to say because I'm usually a positive person. I say don't get too happy because you don't want to freak out when things don't go so well, which happens. Yeah, a lot. So I think unemotional investors win. You got to keep your emotions in check always. And I find that in the hedge fund industry, and I've worked for a number of billionaires, most of them are very unemotional. They don't get too happy when things go well, and they don't freak out when things aren't going well. They're logical and not emotional and illogical. When stocks go down, they buy more. And it was Warren Buffett who said the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. And he also said that every Friday night he goes to his favorite steakhouse in Omaha, Nebraska, where he lives. And he buys a steak for $10. Now, he said that if that steak drops in price to $9, am I going to buy more of it or less of it? Well, probably more. So it's bizarre. If you keep emotions aside, you'll do really, really well in business. Yeah. All right. And then Airscape Tours wrote, by the way, I like the companies in the international harbor city property markets in Sydney and Vancouver. Yeah, Vancouver has been an unbelievable place to invest in real estate ever since the Olympics, actually. Was that 2010, I think? I think so, yeah. The Olympics. There's been a lot of international interest in Vancouver. It's the third or fourth most expensive city now to live in the world. And there's been just a ton of money from Chinese billionaires buying in Vancouver and here on the left coast, west coast in California as well. Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap up the call here. I want to thank you all for your time. This has been a fun call. Join me tomorrow if you can, please. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, where I'll be giving away a course on 47 ways to become a millionaire for free for everybody attending. If you want to attend it, go to my website, which is harounventures.com, and register there. You have to register to get the free course. And what I'll be doing is it'll be fun. There will be prizes. I'm setting up this part of the studio here. I will be using my bow and arrow, starting a fire, and a bunch of other cray fun stuff at the same time. And so within 2 or 3 hours of this call being done today, I have one of my amazing employees who I met during this weekly webcast ages ago. His name is John Clee. Great guy. He's based in Rochester. And what John does is he goes through the webcast and he gets all the questions everybody asks. And what he does is he puts it in the description field so that you can click on time codes so I could save you time. Okay, so I want to thank you all again. Join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time to get a free course of mine and much, much more. There'll be more prizes. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm doing something I've never done before with many different angles and props, and kind of nervous, but it's going to be fun. And you'll find out what is in this as well. It's a secret, okay? Like you see in the movies. Yeah. Like in the heist with GTA 5. I'm going to stop talking now. Okay, great. And that's why I have this controller I got an Alienware Area 51 laptop thing, whatever, and I play GTA all modded out. It looks dope. I can't believe that game came out, GTA 5, in 2003. Oh my God, I talk a lot. Okay, so thanks everybody. God bless you. If you subscribe to my vlog, I'll see you every day at 9 a.m. I hope to see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Go to harounventures.com to register for that call. There will be a free course for everybody as well. If you don't attend tomorrow, then God bless you. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Thursday and every single Thursday forever at 8 a.m. my time. Thank you, and God bless you. And I always love ending this webcast with a video that I licensed from the Silicon Valley Historical Association. This is a little video from Steve Jobs which I absolutely love, and this will change your life. So give me one. Oh my God, I talk a lot. I'm trying to find the video here. All right, hold on. It's coming, guys. It's coming. Stay there. Here it is. Okay. All right, guys. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it, that's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.